Only seen at 10 seconds. We're at 5 seconds now. Suck my thang my suck. That's 10 seconds. If you're watching this VOD back, you can currently see us, but you can't hear them, but you can hear me. It's going to be a good show today. Gonna be a really good show. Let's go to the starting soon page. Hi.
The longer you live, the more you will realize that the only things that truly exist in this reality are merely pain, suffering, and futility. Listen, everywhere you look in this world, wherever there is light, there will always be shadows to be found as well. You will rest in peace.
All right, everybody. Welcome to episode 15 of Chicken and Rice. It feels like it's been an eternity since the last episode for some reason. I'm not sure why, but it just feels that way.
It was last year.
And once again, I am the Sly Kai.
That's why.
You know, that's me.
Okay, so once again, we have the Sly Kai here with us, as he just said. I tried, Craig. I'm sorry. Wow. That lasted like 5 seconds. Okay, the different background, too. He was selling it, and I blew it. I blew the kayfabe. Anyway.
What? Craig? Who's that handsome, dashing rogue?
Oh, he is quite
Certainly
handsome. You have
not
no
me.
idea.
You know what'd be funny, too, is like I could just say I'm someone else, and since my whole career has been just so far on Chicken and Rice, my face masked, you technically can't prove I'm Craig.
All your individual fans come in like, wait a minute.
At least we got him to say it, so we're all good.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, of course, it's myself, TCJ, the Juice, Pence Fan 1, and the Beast,
Hey, what's up?
making his return, NLG _CTV. Last week, what up, Ganny? We see you, man.
Era, boys.
Last week, we did a non-spoiler talk. We had the guest services of the Sly Kai last week
Mountie.
for a non-spoiler talk. This week, the Beast is back and he better than ever. And we're going to be talking about Spider-Man No Way Home. Full, unadulterated, no limits.
And I've got my Spider-Man mask on.
Yes, he does. No censoring, none of that. All spoilers all the way. And we'll talk theories and such too. But
And let's be honest, if you haven't watched it yet, someone else has already spoiled it for you.
yeah.
Yeah.
There are spoilers for No Way Home in comment sections and posts that have nothing to do with Spider-Man. That's how big of an event it is.
Dude,
Bunch of
video
jerks.
footage leaked before the film came out.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh.
And the funny thing is, I'm not even talking about like when it premiered. Like I'm talking about people who are supposed to watch it beforehand to give the review. I'm talking about before that shit.
Yeah, like there was stuff from set.
Yeah.
People on set leaking stuff.
There was script dialogue too about. I'll get into that later since we'll follow the time flow because CJ's
Yeah.
actually has this written down at a good format so we could follow the hour to 2 hour.
No
pace.
joke. Every point
Fucking
is
what
ready
a
to be
fucking
addressed
Spider nerd
from everything. Spider nerd for real. Okay.
All right, so I've got a Spider-Man mask clearly on. CJ's clearly got green Spider-Man on.
That's right. Deadpool.
Juice, what do you bring to the table here? I saw you had
Uh,
some pizza, so you're clearly representing
Pizza
his
time.
guess-
pizza delivery job in the
I guess-
Tobey Maguire series.
Yeah, I guess 2 and 3 with
Pizza
full
time.
black. So I guess the black symbiote
yes.
suit.
Yeah, see my Spider-Man
Also,
mask. You can see the symbiote taking over. That's clearly what this is.
I need to
Also,
do my
I-
Amazon right now. That sucks. I don't have time to go do
I
that.
see.
this was
You
from
guys
the
make-
Amazing Spider-Man.
After
Spider-Man,
hearing
so
about
Juice
No Way
has
Home,
defeated
people
Spider-Man. He
talking
turned him
about
into a
it.
figure.
Thinking
It's
about
kind of
myself.
sick. But I
So,
like it.
Ganny, have you not seen No Way Home? Because if not, I highly recommend, and I can't believe I'm saying this, that you click
Well, he
off.
says watching every Spider-Man
Get
film.
out
So
of here.
maybe he has seen.
He just said
No
he
Way
hasn't
Home.
seen it. He just said no.
Oh, okay,
I have
never
to
mind,
recommend you leave, bruh. I cannot spoil
Definitely
this
watch
for you.
all the Spider-Man films from Tobey Maguire to Andrew Garfield.
All
2.
the way.
So
Yes.
Spider-Man 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, Homecoming, Far From Home, and then No Way Home is how you conclude.
There you go. You must. You
You
must.
don't even need to watch a lot of MCU films to get caught up with that one.
Yeah, like you just need to
you
watch
can.
Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, literally the Spider-Man
Yeah.
movies are the link. Like, because that Spider-Man movie really really pertain to anything. I guess if you
Huh.
want to know who the fucking magical
It's good,
wizard man
fam.
is, watch
I got
Doctor Strange.
horrible memory
That's one of
anyway.
the movies.
I hope you're right, because
What
we're
was it?
about to go in excruciating detail on everything.
He just pops
too.
in the next day. Hey guys, who are you? Wow.
He's like, "Whoa, when did I start following you guys again?" Oh,
At this point, they're just hoping that Doctor Strange's curse is actually gonna work on them, which
you know what this
see.
reminds me
Fun
of?
fact, folks.
This reminds
Juice is
me of
Doctor
that
Strange.
janitor from Drake and Josh, who had like horrible memory, like they used to play football. His name is
Oh, yeah,
Zeke.
he's like, you guys owe me, was it $2,000
You guys owe me
or something like that?
You guys owe me $10,000 because he got hit so hard his memory came back. Anyway, all right, let's get into it. But before we get into it, Troja again, how's everybody doing? Catch up. How you doing, Juice? How's work been? Life? Have you been eating well? You got any good news? Happy New Year! Happy New Year, by the way, everyone. Happy New Year from Chicken and Rice to you. You know, how you been, Juice?
been good. Just been a bunch of work. Honestly, it's close to off season for work, so really close to actually being able to relax. So that's one. Christmas was good. New Year's was good. Watched
Ooh,
Cobra Kai.
never
4.
dies.
Cobra Kai never dies. So that was a great season. If you're not caught up with it, definitely go give it a watch.
That's me.
I will be watching this current season. I'm gonna be binging it soon. Like I'm not getting from in front of the TV when I do watch it.
Oh yeah. Got a guitar, so that's pretty much my biggest thing
Learning
now.
to play with his nutsack.
Music.
That's CJ in his tracks.
Music streams incoming from Juice confirmed. I don't care what he says. They're confirmed.
Just
They're
know when
coming.
you see the guitar off screen and you see one of his hands free that are not holding, you know what's playing it. Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun, 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 dun.
All right, Beastie Boy, my boy, the Beast.
Oh God.
Yeah,
Boy.
I'll lick you again later. Don't worry.
Yeah.
How you been
All
doing,
right,
my
so
boys?
I
We
got
didn't have you
the-
last week, but we got you this week. We know life's pretty busy and a whole lot's going
Yeah, it's a pretty shitty year it's been for 2021, so I'm glad that it's finally fucking over.
Yeah.
Won't get into too many details, but recently I had to get the damn booster shot, so that was horrible. I'm still kind of sick-ish. I'm still nauseated. So, folks, if I end up getting up real quick and leaving randomly, abruptly, that'll be why. But other than that, everything's been pretty all right. I'm trying to get a promotion if possible on my job,
on. Already guaranteed.
and yeah, I got a new car, so working on just trying to get things done, and then if possible, make time in for streaming myself. Other than that, that's about it. Just trying to get my life together
I'm on my
best
way.
way I can, and my little cat Binks is a little asshole, but other than that, we're good. Oh, and I found this mask again, so yeah. My
The
clearly
wonder
Spider-Man
of
mask.
the sorry, wrong era. Greg, great. I've been missing you. It's always great to have you back. I gotta have those spurts
Didn't I
where I
just
get
miss
Craig
one
back in.
episode? Oh no, I've missed like
Nah, like I'm not
3
just talking about
episodes.
the show. I'm talking about just life in general, which leads me to me.
the chocolate one.
What transition?
yeah,
Yeah, your time is over. It's my turn now.
To the main character,
Hardly the main character, please.
Socrates
You know what's funny?
Jackson.
You call me the main character, yet I have one of the most commonly considered annoying, weakest main characters ever on my shirt. So if I am the main character, it's pretty pathetic. Anyway,
trying to think. Right now.
well, it's common, not that you believe that or me, but a lot of people hate Deku.
Well, for me, I just hate that Deku cries.
This
all
is
the
about to
fucking
turn
time.
into a
Like,
My Hero discussion accidentally.
yeah, long story short, I stop crying like a little bitch at this point.
I
Like
heard,
you don't need to cry anymore.
Was
That's
it
how I
main,
feel about the Good Dinosaur, the
I heard the main
protagonist.
character from? Oh, dude, that That movie's so bad.
Oh,
I knew
before
that would trigger you. I knew that would trigger you.
Before I forget, I finally caught up with WandaVision, finished
Ooh.
Falcon and the Winter
Nice.
Soldier.
You beat
and
me
I
on
finished
that.
Loki.
You beat me
I
on that
finished
too.
all three of them in the span of like 3 days.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Well, I have watched WandaVision. And side note, because this will be like a whole different episode, but the Book of Boba Fett, episode 1. Has everybody
That's
seen
next on
that?
my list. That's
Yep.
next.
Yeah.
That's next on my list.
Yeah.
Don't worry, that's gonna happen now.
First episode was pretty lit, bro. Already. So, yeah.
So, fun fact though, CJ, you can actually finish that if you like literally sit down and have a day, watch all those series, all 3 of them. You can finish them in one go.
I have to watch Falcon and Loki. So, it
Hawkeye?
shall be done. And Hawkeye.
Hawkeye's the next one for me.
Yes. That too. Okay.
Boba Fett's my
This
next
will.
target, and Demon Slayer Mugen Train. I finally got around to watching that. So
Oh. I need
The
to
season
catch
or
up on a
movie?
lot of
the
stuff.
movie, Mugen
Okay.
Train, Juice, Mugen Train.
Okay.
I know, but
Sorry.
it's in the TV show adaptation now.
This is all my fault.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's right. They adapted it to like a season
yeah. It's
a la
in
Dragon
next
Ball
arc now.
Super, right?
Oh damn it! Well, at least I can skip that.
I
I don't need to see what happened again.
Okay. Spider-Man, No Way Home.
CJ, there you go.
Spider-Man, No Way Home. Also, Yanny, give me some of that Wendy's. Anyway, all right. I better not hear a Wendy's nuts joke right now, too. All right, anyway. So,
How is Chocolatus Jackson?
dude, Greg only looks like the mask right now. Look, there's no body. Dude. Sick. Trying to pull a Jor-El from Superman like it's just a head.
Oh,
No.
no!
So the first point I wanted to bring up, and this is not a spoiler, actually, so we'll start on a nice note, is that with each Spider-Man series, it seems like the movies gradually get darker. With the original trilogy, right? With the Amazing movies 2, right? And now in this series, Far From Home was darker than Homecoming, and No Way Home. They just get more serious as they go on, it seems, and darker, especially the ending to No Way Home, which we will get to. So in the very beginning, like the movie starts where the last one ended, with the whole Mysterio revealing his identity.
Sorry.
And he's all like, what the right? Well, in this version, the movie doesn't end when he says that. It's a car horn that bleeps out the F word like before he can say it. I just wanted to bring that up. I don't know why. The F word.
So I part when he started off, or at least this is when CJ was starting off like the whole thing. It's like, all right, so we're gonna start off on a good note. I thought he was just gonna go straight. So, Aunt May.
Marissa Tomei, delicious.
Yeah.
Has anyone seen My Cousin Vinny? She was in that movie back in the 90s. Just putting that out there. Anyway.
But she was still fine.
Oh, yeah. She's always looked good.
Mm-hmm.
Like fine wine. Anyway. Okay. I suppose this will probably be the first note. Okay, so this is more so of a
fun
discussion
fact.
point. Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
What's up?
Fun fact though, I went back and watched Far From Home, and everything that happens in No Way Home, like continuity wise, is actually spot for spot
Right.
on point.
Perfect.
Like even the people in the background are the exact same,
Yeah.
like dressed and all. Like I'm just like, wow, that's a hell of a detail.
What the
Proceed.
Typically, movies that start off right from the last movie have a bit of a rough time. For example, John Carpenter's Halloween 2 picks up exactly from where the first left off, and then there's the issues with that. Like, and so Halloween Kills picks up exactly where you get the picture. This movie does not suffer from the jinx of starting right. It seems it overcomes a lot of jinxes. It overcomes the number 3 jinx. It overcomes the crowd jinx of having a lot of characters in the movie. Welcome to the family, Nobi-Wan Kenobi. Hi. We're discussing Spider-Man No Way Home. You're right on time. We just started. We're at the very beginning. So what is up with, and this is a discussion point just for everyone too, what is up with people just believing Mysterio? Well, I happen to think that that does reflect society. People will just believe stuff without looking into it. And then Peter really didn't have a way to exonerate himself either, because they say in the movie that Nick Fury has been off-world for like a year, which of course is leading to the whole Skrull invasion thing, like whatever it is from the comics or Marvel comics. Yeah. And people are saying too, if Secret Wars is going to be adapted, that means we're probably going to see the other spiders return.
Also, CJ too, if you watch, see, this is what I'm kind of pissed at, that I didn't do this ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
But if you'd actually watched like when WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier and all of that and Loki, when all those films, well, actually not really Loki, more the first two. But if you watch all those when they come out, timeline wise,
we did watch WandaVision as it was coming out. We did.
Okay, so you watched it. Okay, so mainly I guess WandaVision. You'll notice that more and more Skrulls keep popping up at the end of like everything. So that's what they mean about the whole secret invasion. Like you notice these Skrulls are getting further and further, delving deeper and deeper in. And they didn't come to help Peter.
No, they didn't. So
considering that he saved one of their asses.
So people just believe Mysterio's lies, right? Not everyone. Everyone doesn't believe it, but I didn't know what you're going to say too. Like he was pretty convincing with what he showed.
No, I was actually going to say he had video proof. That's why it was so believable.
Video proof can be fabricated in the modern day.
Well, remember too,
deep fake, like in
Peter stopped him. That last technician guy for Mysterio, who was doing pretty much all the theatrics, who's doing all the I guess the most of the work, where Jake Gyllenhaal's character as Mysterio was mainly just doing the mouthpiece. That's all he was really doing. Everything else, though, that other guy was in complete control of. Whether it was setting up the drones, setting up the illusions, the holograms, etc., etc. So while Peter was actually fighting the rest of Jake Gyllenhaal, that was, I feel like, that guy setting up that message. So it was a fallback plan in case he failed. That's what I think it was. Because the Jake Gyllenhaal's persona for his character was not the brains of the operations, at least for the holograms. Setting everything up, yeah, I'll give him credit for that. But in terms of being Mysterio, no. He was just the face needed for it.
Which leads to another aspect of things. Jameson.
Which I believe his name was Quentin Beck, right?
Yes. Quentin Beck is Mysterio, and he's fucking dead now. Anyway, Jameson immediately being able to report on those events like that. There's widespread rumor that Jameson is also a Skrull, too.
Explain all the green.
Huh?
That would explain all the green for the Daily Bugle stuff that he has.
Perhaps. But it's a rumor that he's a Skrull too. And yeah, I can kind of go for that, especially with how they made him J.K. Simmons again. So you mean to tell me J.K. Simmons, J. Jonah Jameson looks like J.K. Simmons in every verse, even though the Peters look different?
His hair's bald up here.
It's the same guy. It's the same.
No, that was KJ Simmons. What are you talking about? KJ Simmons.
Okay, all right. I'll give you that. He's the Whiplash J.K. Simmons in the MCU.
I don't know, because if he was a Skrull, he wouldn't need to really be like, oh, you know, Mysterio says he's Spider-Man. Like, he would have already had that knowledge prior to expose him.
Now, but it may be a part of some plan. We don't know what route they're taking with that anyway. We do know the Skrulls have come, though.
Well, because usually any type of invasion or anything like that in any of the comics that have involved, like, anything, J. Jonah Jameson is hardly affected. At most, what happens is he becomes... Like, there's one comic where J. Jonah is the leading bad guy, and then he finds out that Spider-Man is Peter Parker. But this is usually when he has him working with him under the Daily Bugle. And once Jonah figures out that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, his whole tone shifts. He goes from wanting to hunt down Spider-Man to protecting Spider-Man. There's a whole angle about it, and there's another one where they've recently released called Spider-Man Kills the Marvel Universe for Spider-Man Shadow. And it does a retelling of that same comic where instead of this time where Spidey gives up the symbiote, he refuses to give it up and keeps it after he encounters Reed Richards recommending that he keep it there to see how it works.
I wonder if he's going to be John Krasinski. Reed Richards. That's a topic for another
I could see that. That would be pretty good casting. We should definitely think about that casting for Fantastic
Yeah, like
Four.
It's been rumored, but there's nothing concrete on the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, it says it's one of the future projects, but that's all it's going to potentially be as a project, because Fantastic Four, getting it off is going to be really difficult, because the only successful one, and I'm using this loosely, was
very
the first
loosely,
one.
yes.
Only because the casting was really solid.
Right.
Kind of can't beat that casting.
If they did cross universe with that, Captain America and the Human Torch just look at each other like.
Well, they can technically use the Human Torch now, and they just be like.
But Chris Evans played the Human Torch in the original Fantastic Four.
I know what I'm saying. If they use him now, it could work again.
He's freaking Johnny Storm and Steve Rogers. Anyway, up next, the dude moment where Ned calls him like, dude.
So I was like, isn't Zendaya hanging? And then she goes, dude. I was like,
she does, yeah. She's like, dude. And he's like, oh, right. And then he goes and gets her like it's all casual. Speaking of which, I love the the ongoing jokes of Ned being a third wheel and Peter straight up going for it too. And then it makes MJ the third wheel because Ned's his best buddy.
That shit was great though. Anytime they're arguing too, this comes later, but when he has them just on a video cam on his chest and he's webbing around and no, go right, go left, go right, go left, and then just it cracks the screen. What happened?
Right, yeah.
I was so much continuity, so much thought and effort went into this film. This is I think may have been the first film since Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame where the expectations
it's on that level
compared to when we saw it exceeded the expectations.
Yeah.
Those are the
it
only
blew
two
them out of the water.
Really, maybe because I want to say Spider-Man 2, but that was the early conception of what superhero films could be. So the bar hadn't been set. That was probably the standard film that set the bar for a lot of hero films. Then film
the Dark Knight came out.
Yeah. Yep. And then a lot of the MCU projects came. The first Iron Man.
Yeah, the first Iron Man.
Kind of out of nowhere. And then the first Avengers, people didn't know what to expect. They just thought it was going to be crazy. And then it just
worked out. Yeah.
Yep. And it was, I feel
like
the first
Captain
Avengers
America
film
Civil
was
War.
really the thing that set up the MCU for
Winter
complete
Soldier
success. Yeah.
So
Winter Soldier was really good too.
I actually remember when Winter Soldier came out, people were saying that it was the best superhero movie since The Dark Knight. And we had no idea what was coming in the MCU after that. The movie quality has actually increased since Winter Soldier, and that's saying something.
And The Winter Soldier is still a really good film. Even if
that's
you
still a
compare it
good
to,
movie.
Older superhero films and later superhero films. Obviously you can't folks, and the thing too is you have to compare Captain America, The Winter Soldier. You have to really compare it to a solo hero film. So in this case, Spider-Man No Way Home is an oddity because it fits in the criteria of both a solo film and the equivalence of a mashup film.
We had a discussion a while back
in a moment
about it was on one of your streams, Craigo, where we were asking how the hell are they gonna make something work with all these characters when it has never worked before?
We discussed that whole thing.
Yeah, when it has never worked before.
Successfully, at least.
Yeah, it's never successfully worked before. How are they gonna do it?
I'll say this: like the Amazing Spider-Man 2, they could have made it work if they didn't advertise it the way they did.
Yeah.
If they had just left the Goblin, just take out Rhino completely.
Yeah,
Just
Rhino shouldn't
him.
have even been in. Yeah.
Like, don't put him as a poster. Literally put
Yeah,
him.
like they had
keep
him as a poster.
Keep Rhino as he is, or he starts off just as whatever, and then he pops up at the end, and that's the end credits, right? Keep that the same. Don't put him on the poster though.
Like he's a
Build
main
up the
villain.
tension between him and Goblin, and bring Goblin out earlier, but he's having trouble with, like, say, his tech or something like that. And so while he's busy fighting him,
Welcome in,
Electro
lady.
gets more powerful, and then he takes out Electro, then the Goblin pops up. So it's just one after the other. If you just work on the continuity, work with your elements, and if you're trying to be grounded in realism, like how they did when he, what was it? Amazing scene that they did with the webbing in Amazing Spider-Man 2, where he just grabs his thumb like this and shoots the webs in different directions, blocks the car,
Oh yeah,
and you see all of his
the part with Electro in Times Square. Yeah.
where everything's just going off, and he has to
I
save
watched
all
that
those
scene
people
last
while trying
night.
It's so good. That's why when
Yeah,
people are like,
that's
"Oh,
what-
Andrew Garfield Spider-Man sucks," like, you shut your
You
whole
clearly
mouth. No,
weren't.
it's not.
Yeah. You clearly weren't watching if you think he sucks. He was not bad, even
I love
remotely.
that all
He
the
was
haters
great.
now shut their mouths.
How
was
they're
bad.
riding him hard now. Hard. All I see is Andrew Garfield love. I see Andrew Garfield love that now has him in the same realm as Toby and Tom.
Now,
Now,
here's the thing.
like,
He
I
should be
love-
considered that way. Only reason
He
he gets
should be.
to be seen as the weakest one is because he has the least amount of films under his belt. That's the only reason.
Lady.
Only
welcome
reason
in.
he
and
should be-
Naruto, my man. See.
Yeah, honestly, man, like, that's Andrew Garfield should only be seen as the weakest member of all the Spider-Men because of the fact that he has the least amount of films.
Yeah, he only
Toby
has 2 movies.
3 films.
Yeah.
3 films and a technical cameo in X-Men 2000, but we don't talk about that one. Andrew just obviously has the 2 films. Tom Holland has every film he's been in since Civil War up.
Yeah.
That's a plethora of films.
He's had a lot of time to develop, and
Yeah, he has 6 movies now.
everything that we saw from Tom was just his origin all along. But we'll get to that. Like, this
and
was all just his origin story.
We
Everything
thought-
you've
we're
seen
like,
in the
"Oh,
MCU
how
so
nice."
far.
They skipped us. They skipped.
Yeah,
the damn
bro.
origin.
Like they skipped the
We
Spider
got-
Bite and
we
Uncle
got
Ben.
Pre-dead Uncle Ben. Fucking, that's great. They're treating us like adults. We love it. Oh man, we
No,
were fucking
yeah.
all along.
We were wrong.
we were.
We were
fools.
very wrong.
Yeah.
We gotta talk about our favorite Uncle Bens too, because both Uncle Bens are really good. I
Yeah.
was emotional for both.
I agree. Both of them
Yeah.
were pretty good. Cliff Robinson and Martin Sheen were both great as Uncle
Yep.
Ben. Speaking of the Amazing Spider-Man 2 again, you brought up a way to fix it by just focusing on the Goblin. I think another way you can fix it, just focus on Electro. That character's
Oh, no.
themes
I'm saying if
too
they,
were
because
amazing.
they need Goblin for the fact that he's gonna be the the whole catalyst for Gwen.
He should have been the next villain. Gwen didn't
Well,
have to
here's the
die in
thing.
that movie.
Because no, I agree, but if that's what I'm just working within the script, if that's still what they want to do, then they need to put ample time into Harry and Peter growing with each other. So if anything, they should introduce, I don't really remember the film too well from the first one, but they got to introduce them right from the jump, halfway point, have them transition into the Goblin, so that way when the whole Electro thing has already happened in Times Square, they're already about to go head to head. They butt heads once before he beats Electro, and then he's like fucking almost out of webs. Then he's got to fight him at the clock tower, finishes it off, kills Gwen. It just, if they still want to work in the elements, I'm just saying if they want to keep that route the same. That's the only way they can kind of really fix it. Obviously,
could be
best thing
a
to
show
do,
of
like
its
how
own.
You said, CJ, just keep it Electro. I think that would be way fucking better.
We'll have a show on this down the line where we'll fix Spider-Man 3 and the Amazing Spider-Man 2. We'll
What do you mean?
fix both
Spider-Man 3 is
eventually.
perfect.
Tell them early. That was going to be the joke. We're going to be like, all right, how to fix Spider-Man 3. It's perfect. Moving on. How to fix the Amazing Spider-Man 2. We'll get to that. Welcome in everyone too, by the way. It's great to have you all. Happy New Year.
Film Spider-Man 2. That hurt me saying
Yeah.
that. I can't even lie.
Um,
Ow.
I think we were We're talking about the dude moment, right? Yeah, but then it
Dude!
turned into
Yeah.
dude, and then the swinging around. So everybody knows who Peter Parker is. Something I caught an Easter egg when they went to school, when they were walking in, and there's like all the press and all the students and all the rabid New York people. Did you guys hear? Like I heard it the first time, like, and I marked out. Someone in the crowd was the guy from Homecoming, like the first Tom movie, who said, "Do a flip." The do a flip guy, like, was in the crowd. Remember that scene where he's like, "Are you really that Spider guy?" He's like, "Call me
Yeah.
Spider-Man." "Oh, really? Prove it. Do a flip." That guy was in the crowd at the movie and told Tom to do a flip again to prove
Fun
that he was really Spider-Man.
Remember the
fun
line?
fact though.
Didn't see the face.
Go ahead, just.
I remember the line. I didn't see the face. So
Oh, that guy. Have you guys seen Shang-Chi?
Yes.
Remember the
Oh,
guy
yeah.
who's recording on the bus? That's the same guy.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh!
Yeah, continuity. They're the same guy. The guy who tells Spider-Man to do a flip is the same guy on the bus with Shang-Chi as he's kicking ass.
What? Dude, like the guy that was live streaming it? Bro, wow. Okay.
Same-
That just put it
same
into a
guy.
whole new
Dude, this guy has watched Spider-Man do a flip.
This guy is
Shang-Chi
everywhere.
fucking-
Yeah.
Oh my god,
he's gonna be the next Stan Lee. He's gonna show up in every single.
He's
Marvel
gonna be
movie.
the
No
next
Stan
big
Lee.
villain. He's Kang the Conqueror. Fucking slap him. We don't know his name. Oh yeah, we do. We do know his name because he says it in the fucking live stream.
So for this too, we also have to bring up, well, before I bring this up, there was a funny little joke too of Peter and MJ being caught by Ant-Man in the room. Well, like, just use protection, like, just be safe. And then there's
Oh, he
And-
comes in. Oh,
then
I'm sorry, I
there's-
shouldn't have said that.
now, Aunt May breaking up with Happy and oh, bro, like, and
I'm trying to.
John.
and of
Favreau,
course
love that
there is
motherfucker.
the confirmed Matt Murdock cameo, same
Which
one
confirms
from
everything
Netflix.
else.
Yes, same one.
The Daredevil,
Daredevil.
which
yes.
should probably be called Batman. Just saying.
Now,
Blind Batman.
Flash Thompson. Okay, Chris. Flash Thompson is a Peter stan now. After like despising him the past two movies and swearing he's his best friend, and they had that joke where he's all like, "What? Didn't you guys get into MIT?" And he's like, "No, because we're actually friends with Spider-Man." It's
Has to
savage.
go like. Why does it feel like Flash had to go make sure he got out of it just to prove that he's friends with Spider-Man?
Right.
It's like the ultimate Thanos moment. I did it. What it cost you? Everything.
I did it for the Rock.
For The
Okay.
Rock.
So up next, there is
Quick question
yes,
before you go on. Back to the Happy and Aunt May breaking up.
yes.
When did they confirm they were together?
Well,
'Cause,
see, that's the
Far From
joke
Home.
too, because May even says that it was just a fling, like it was something like that.
Yeah, and it
Man.
started in Far From Home. So.
Yeah, like
so it's the same day.
and Happy. Yes, even though it feels like
That was
years
for
to us.
weeks.
Yeah, like it feels like
MCU continuity. It's like only weeks, which is kind of nuts to think about.
right. Like and he's all like, "No, it was more than a fling." She was like, it was just a fling," you know. Right? So she like shatters him. Speaking of Happy too, remember when they show him on the news because Stark Industries is in trouble, and then John Favreau's just like they're like this. He's like, at least they used a good picture. I died
what's
when that
funny?
happened, bro. I died at that.
that is they actually took that photo of him from Iron Man 3. It's a specific moment where they do a flashback where Tony's still a dick, and then so yeah, they just ripped that shit straight from Iron Man 3. So I love that they kept in continuity for that.
But bro, like at least they used a good picture. Speaking of John Favreau, like to go off topic, just real quick. This will be like 5 seconds. I'm watching The Sopranos right now, and he was in it. Okay, well, anyways, moving on. Like,
That makes too much sense.
right? Anyway, okay. There's the concept of Peter Parker initially embracing that his identity's out there. Like he swings around as Peter Parker
Oh yeah,
and goes
Like,
places. Bro, all you
I
had to do
was-
was just say it's not me and act human. Don't fucking be like, yeah, I'm Spider-Man. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Can he really? Like, with
Yes,
someone
you
like
can.
Mysterio saying that?
Yes. To be like, I'm not Spider-Man. And then there's the interrogation scene. Don't say anything without a lawyer.
Everyone puts two and two together. Plus, then they check his room and they did all that other shit.
Okay,
So,
Chris's computer froze. The image of him on screen is priceless.
you know, if you didn't say anything,
I wouldn't
no
have thought he
one would
didn't
have noticed.
freeze. Yeah, look at his face.
I saw it and I'm waiting for him to fix it. I was trying to buy time, CJ. I was like, fucking, please don't let CJ notice because he will fucking.
I didn't.
Point it
He
out in a
left a
heartbeat.
comment and stream. He said, "Keep going, stupid computer froze."
Damn it, Chris.
Don't break kayfabe, Chris. But I think that's pretty interesting that he just embraces it too, and he's like, you know what? They
Yeah,
know
I was like-
I'm swinging around.
I was like, yeah, fuck it. I was like, if my identity got revealed, fuck it.
Yeah, like if my identity. Look what Tony Stark did. I am Iron Man, and just didn't care. Went along with it. That was quite the twist to that movie too. Having it end there to where the world just knows.
CJs.
Oh yeah, sorry. Let me fix that until Juicy
I mean,
comes
it
back.
comes with a great risk, but
Yeah. In the comics, when he reveals his identity during Civil War, Aunt
It's a
May
lot harder
is
for
immediately assassinated.
Yep.
Like right after she's killed.
Yep.
Right after he reveals it. Like, dude.
here's the thing, though, is like with Peter hiding his identity, it's a lot easier for him to hide it, and it comes with a lot greater risk if he ends up revealing it. Because with Tony, he's got a shit ton of security. His mom and dad are already dead. Everyone he
Yep.
loves is like
Yeah.
literally in the same building with him with top-notch security.
Peter lives a pretty
Versus
basic life.
Young,
Yeah,
with
like-
young Peter, who has just his Aunt May and his friends, and he has no job or well, he has education, but he doesn't really have anything to him besides himself. trying
man,
to
Juicy
protect
making
everybody.
away. He said, I'm using my phone, big fella. Anyway.
Literally, that's literally what I'm doing.
He looks
All
much
my
clearer.
photos
That's
still
scarier.
staring at me
Yeah,
off the computer.
your quality's better now anyway. So it's all
Oh, yeah.
good. So that's
Yeah.
interesting that he
Staring at
goes
my
around.
face, just literally looking at me like this during the entire thing.
Okay. This is wonderful. Look at the
Look at me
beast
judging.
pondering.
And there's me just like, really.
He's
So, yeah.
me. Okay, so is there really no way to prove that Mysterio lied? Let's briefly think about that. We don't want to spend too much time on more points. Is there any way to prove that Mysterio was lying? No, I don't think there was because
No.
one, the time stone's gone, as the movie blatantly puts in your face when he goes to visit Strange. Number two, Fury was supposed to be his alibi. The real Fury's
is
off
S.H.I.E.L.D.
world. So, yeah, like the only people would be considered accomplices of his, like MJ and Ned, and they're not going to take their word for it.
May
so.
as well.
Yeah, like in May as well. So, like that's not going to go through.
Well, because like I said, the other guy, like essentially Quentin Beck's guy in the chair, I guess, was had the backup plan, I guess, in case he lost, which thankfully he did for his own sake. But it's kind of hard to do that because, like, it's hard to stop him. Like, you would literally have, like, Peter would have had to go murder everybody that he had working for him. And to his knowledge, all he knew doing everything
totally
was just
lost
Quentin
now.
Beck.
Did y'all see that Doctor Strange that looks like one that we have seen in his movie trailer? Are you talking about the
He's
The
talking about the what if
post-credits?
stuff. Yeah. And
No, he's
multiverse
talking
of
about-
like,
madness.
from what it? We'll get to that.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
'cause
We'll get
there's
to
a
that.
What if Doctor Strange?
We'll get to
but,
that. Yeah,
that'll be for another day, though. Just
We'll
that
get
way,
to
no,
it.
He's
you're
talking
right.
about the end credit scene, I think, right?
yeah.
He's talking about both.
But that's in What If as well, like that version of Strange.
I think
Yeah,
it's like
so-
what, episode 4? What
Okay.
if?
We already said Matt Murdock Daredevil is officially in the movies and Happy broke up. The consequences of Spider-Man for college chances. I think that was a very good stake in the movie that shows consequences, how him being Spider-Man and it being known screws over those closest to him. I thought that was very well done and executed in the movie.
Crazy part too, it wasn't even like to a drastic or meticulous like way. Like the simplest version of it, screwing them over, like taking their education away, is just
Yeah.
ugh.
Yeah, like that's pretty messed up. Because like, they worked their entire lives to get to that point. And it's
they're
just
all
gone.
geniuses too.
Yeah.
That's the shitty part.
Yeah.
Like any other situation, any school would be just thrilled to fucking have him. And it's not like Tony's around to protect him this time. Because if Tony Stark was still around, he would just be like, "Yeah, he's Spider-Man. Who gives a fuck?" You're
Oh,
still
so
coming to work with
Naruto
me, kid.
says that the Stark AI could prove it potentially, but Stark is also being seen as the villain, Stark Industries, because of the drones. So
Yep.
that's probably not going to work. Nah.
Yeah.
Okay. Next point. And this is like an ongoing joke in the movie. Strange insisting on being called Stephen and then Sir. Call me Sir. And then Stephen
All right,
again at the
Stephen.
very end. And did you guys notice that he
That's
says
weird, but I'll
you
allow it."
change? They changed that, the trailer version versus the movie version. There was a pause in the trailer. In the movie, it was just straight up, that feels weird, but I'll allow it. Okay. Anyway, Strange says
Hang on,
you
before
changed
go
my
on,
spell
I love that fucking Wong became the Sorcerer Supreme
on a
because he
technicality.
because he was absent during the blip.
Then the government could not trust their own drones. Probably can't.
I love that fucking Wong became Sorcerer Supreme. Now, you know what's funny too? Now this is up in the air because the whole, still spoilers for those of you who haven't seen WandaVision, but Agatha Harkness, was it Harkness or some shit like that, right?
Yeah. Harkness.
Yeah, Agatha Harkness saw in the book that said the Scarlet Witch would become more powerful than the Sorcerer Supreme. Now, I'm pretty sure Doctor Strange is stronger than Wong. But if Wong is currently Sorcerer Supreme,
Technicality.
technicality, she is stronger, but does that
Yeah.
mean she's stronger than Doctor Strange?
I don't
that is
know,
up
but
in
the
the air.
trailer at the end does show them interacting, but we'll get to that.
Yes.
Yeah, like they have a talk, or at least it looks like a talk. It may become more than a talk.
Love that. And I love the whole reason for the snow. Like, oh yeah, we left one of those fucking little
The
gates
blizzards to
open.
Siberia?
If you watch,
Yeah,
if you watched fucking Doctor Strange, you know exactly what they're talking about. They got one connected to the desert and everything, and that's just fucking hilarious.
even Strange has a coat on, like walks around just setting fires, and they have to warm the place up too. We're getting into the itinerary stuff anyway, because I could sit here like and talk about this for hours too. But that was a funny ongoing joke, but it's also kind of sad too, right? Because of the way it ends, and with the whole "you changed my spell 6 times." If you count, Peter only asked to change it 5 times. Now, why does Strange say that? Because Strange altered the spell himself as well, so that he
For him.
would remember Peter.
That's right.
Yes, he wanted to remember Peter.
Yep.
So that was
the
pretty
6th time.
hard. It was hard touching.
I tell people that they're like, "Well,
Yep.
you only said 5 times."
Yeah,
You're
well,
forgetting somebody. Who am
It's-
I forgetting?
read
I'm like,
between the
fucking God doing the
lines.
show, idiot.
Yeah, like the movie's
Jesus
not going to tell you
Christ.
everything blatantly. Like that's something you're supposed to spot because it's heartwarming and like sleek and slick.
Honestly, it is telling you, like, fucking put 2 and 2 together.
Right. That's easy to piece together. And then there's also a line too where he's all like, "I always forget, despite everything we've been through, you're still just a kid." Well, this is the last movie where he's a kid. With the way it ends, he graduates to
love-
becoming Spider-Man rather than Iron Boy Jr. He's
I love
Spider-Man.
the fact, too, that I need to point this out because he's like, wait a minute. Did you think about calling them and asking MIT?
And he's just like, wait, that's an option?
Get
Yeah, I
out!
can
He
do that.
slams the door in his face.
He's like,
slams
are
it,
you
yeah.
telling me you had me alter reality and you didn't think to call?
That's totally
Nope.
something a teenager would do, though. So, like, I think that works too. Like,
Yeah, I was
a
like, no, I
teenager
was
would
like,
totally
that's fucking
spaz.
great writing, yeah.
Yeah, like a teenager would spaz like that. Because there's been a lot of complaints with the Tom movies, like, oh, why does he all of a sudden like Mary Jane after Liz Allen, but things happen? Because that's how teenage boys are. They have different crushes and move on like
Also,
that. That's how it
maybe
is
he put
growing up.
2 and 2 together that, hey, why was I going after that one when that one was already interested in me? And it's funny
Maybe.
because if you watch Homecoming,
She's
and
clearly
look at-
interested in him. Yeah.
if you actually watch Mary Jane the whole time she's on, like, if the moment she pops up, keep a fucking close eye on her,
She's obsessed with
and
him.
you'll see she's reading, like, one of the first times we see her when they're in the gym and it's just Ned and Peter talking about Captain America. You can see her reading a book about a boy who is orphaned and is taken in by his aunt and uncle. Now, who does that sound like?
Wow.
Peter. Yeah.
I
the
never
book
noticed
she's
that.
reading covers that.
And that's also, she was like studying him, and she pretty much had it figured out that he was Spider-Man too, because she was on the cusp. She was on the hunt. She suspected that he was Spider-Man. It's almost
Yep.
like she was a meta character. Like, anyone here in the real world that would know Peter Parker would immediately suspect, especially the version of him that takes pictures for the Bugle. How are you the only person in the world that can get
How are
pictures
you
of this
getting
guy?
these angles?
Yeah. And he always
Which
says
one's
stuff
on
like,
top
oh,
of the
I climbed a
weapon?
flagpole. No, you didn't, you little unathletic, scary piece of trash. Get out of here. You did
And
not
he just
climb a
flexes his
flagpole.
abs.
Anyway, let's go forward. All right. Peter calls Flash and he's like, yo, where's the representative? He's all like, what are you going to do for me? He's like, fine. I'll tell everyone you're my best friend. Then he goes, finds her on the highway, and then hello, Peter. Right? So,
Hello, nephew.
oh gosh. All right. But that was a great fight scene. Great between Tom Spider and Doc Ock. Alfred Molina drops right back into character like he never left the role 17 going on 18 years ago.
Also, props to the writers for paying attention to details in Spider-Man 2 and still applying them here. Because the suit that Peter's wearing at this time is the Iron Spider, which follows on nanotechnology. And in Spider-Man 2, what is Doc Ock's fucking tentacles made out of? Nanotechnology, funded by Oscorp.
I'd like to thank Harry Osborn and Oscorp for that. Yeah, anyway. But
Listen
good attention to
chocolate,
detail.
man.
Good attention to detail, yes, which is why we love this movie so much. All the little Easter eggs. Great fight on the bridge. And it was also nice to see Tom's spider sense in full effect now, too, after he just got it back in the last movie. I like the way that his is and the way it sounds, right? At the end of that fight, when he saves the MIT representative,
It's really like the Force, too, which is kind of
Yeah.
funny because he just straight up
I sense a disturbance in the Force. Yeah, like it's not like, see, Toby's spider sense, he knew what was coming, per se, right? Like things would slow down, like, and he knew. Andrew's spider sense, I'm trying to remember some examples of Andrew's. His was like very meticulous spider sense too, to where
It was like a camera panned
Yeah.
out.
his, like, everything practically stopped and he was still moving in his spider sense. Like the scene you were talking
You know
about
what's
earlier
funny?
with Electro.
Ironically enough, that we say that it's like the Force, he has a lot of like stuff that is Star Wars related.
Yeah, like they make Star Wars
Which is-
jokes. You guys
I feel
know that
like
really
maybe
old movie?
Maybe that's why they put that hint down, like all the Star Wars stuff, because his stuff acts kind of like the Force.
Like the Darth Sidious fucking Lego. Join me. And we can
The little Death Star. They're
Yeah.
making them.
How many times are they going to destroy that Lego Death Star? And you know what's sad? They never finished it.
Fun fact
They
too.
never finished it.
You remember when they go to Happy's apartment? Do you know the little fucking machine that's on his table in the kitchen?
Yes. It's the one from
That's
Iron Man 1.
1.
Yes.
Yeah, and here's the thing. If you pay attention, every time you see that little arm go by, it's putting the fucking thing back together again until they bust it again.
He's
It's
like,
putting the fucking Death Star
Star?
together.
yeah.
It's been putting it together since we see it. It's just slowly doing it.
Like, can I ask you a question? Sure. Are these your Legos? I wonder where that was going. Like, I didn't get that. Where was he going? Well, Max was a nerd. We'll get to that. Anyway, okay.
I forgot about that.
Highway battle was awesome. Saves representative. She's convinced to put a good word in for them all. Doc Ock's arms try to steal the nanotech, but it works against him because now Peter has control of the arms.
Showing that what was it, Tony's tech.
Yeah,
Beats Doc
Tony's
Ock's
tech is
tech.
vastly superior to anything from any of the other Marvel verses.
There's
Vastly.
only one person whose tech will beat Iron Man's, and that's going to be Reed Richards. That's the only person that's going to do it.
Well, that dude is OP. His
Well,
brain
Tony's
is OP.
dead in this version,
Yeah.
so he kind of can't.
They're never even gonna meet. He's dead. Fucking Vince McMahon, he's dead.
The best part about it is they could just play off the whole. So if they're going to put the Fantastic Four in the MCU, they really could just play off Stark Industries technology. And
Ooh,
advance it
Lord
from
Phoenix
there.
with the raid. Welcome in, baby. Welcome to the Spider-Man No Way Home discussion. Welcome in, Raiders, and Lord Phoenix. Always great to see you. Enjoy. I hope you've seen the movie. We're talking about it full spoilers for everyone who came through. If you haven't seen it, leave a follow. We're live every 2
We're
weeks.
on the
And
Hello
come back next
Nephew
week,
part.
but you should probably leave now if you haven't seen it. But follow first before you leave. I promise. We're live every Saturday. Happy New Year.
Please, please.
Please, please. We got to play Dying Light
It's
again.
funny. I'm
This
like
is gonna be fun.
smiling underneath this mask, making faces, but only my eyes are present. I keep forgetting about that.
I knew you were giving me the eyes. Look, fucking Kane. You just lift your arms.
If I was able to play music off my phone, I would just start blasting Careless Whisper.
I have that as a sound command on my channel. Can't play it here. Anyway,
Same.
all right. Up next, after the part in the basement, of course, you see Doc Ock and the Green Goblin appears on the bridge in his getup from the first Toby movie and laughing. We marked out so hard in the theater. We knew it was coming. We saw it in the trailer. It didn't matter. Same with Doc Ock. Did you guys have very active movie theaters where people were cheering and screaming and
fuck
clapping?
yeah, I did.
Yeah. Dude, my theater was getting so loud we couldn't hear the movie at some point.
I'm not gonna lie though.
And I was at fault too, because I was doing it too. So,
When-
yeah.
I could just.
when the trailer came out, I thought they were switching them around. I thought we were gonna see Goblin first,
Yeah.
and then I thought we were gonna see.
That's what the trailer
Osborn
looked
first.
like. Yeah. That's the
Yeah.
order they put
So
them
I
in.
was like, I wonder if they're switching it around when we see it. Like he's
Hello,
gonna have
Peter.
the Goblin be, and then all of a sudden, fucking the tentacles are gonna shoot up.
You know how you know that's a really good trailer? Like in this movie, it's just epic. I can watch that trailer, having seen the movie, and I'm still hyped. Like that is such
Oh,
a
yeah.
good trailer.
Yeah.
So well done. Yeah.
I was like, oh no.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, these motherfuckers got Willem Dafoe back. I can't believe it.
I saw Alfred Molina, and I was just like,
Hello, Peter. I just collapsed back on my bed with my legs up in the air when I saw the Hello, Peter. Hello, Peter. Hello, nephew. So like the Goblin shows up and Strange pulls them all back to the lair, the sanctum, wherever the fuck you want to call it. And Strange
the
has
Sanctum
already
Sanctorum.
captured the lizard. He's
I
captured
love
the
that he was
lizard,
like,
and it wasn't
Go
easy
ahead,
because he
just-
scratched up.
take it away. Yeah. So the lizard put up a fight.
Yeah, lizard put
and
a
he
fight up.
He actually hurt Strange.
That's good subtle
Doctor Strange is-
storytelling
Yeah, Doctor Strange is no fucking lightweight
at
in terms
all.
of.
He could
which
solo.
means one of two things happened. He got the jump on him, which is still surprising,
Yeah.
or he encountered him and he put up one hell of a fight before he got taken down. Because the lizard doesn't exactly have a lot of crazy abilities. He's just
He's
Raw strength.
he's pretty damn strong though. And like
Yeah,
the fact that he
Agile and
gave
everything.
Strange like a battle puts Garfield Spider-Man in a higher light for being able to contest with the Lizard. Subtly, it puts Garfield Spider-Man in a higher light.
I'm curious, when is this in the timeline? Is this taking place?
We're
Because
going to get to
where the
that.
fuck was everyone
We're
else?
going to speculate on that from where everyone was pulled and when they returned. We'll do that at the end. This is definitely going to be a 2-hour show because there's a lot to talk about with this movie. Did you have something, Juicy? Were you going to say something? How dare you?
I'm trying to remember. I was gonna make a joke about something that you said, but I can't remember.
It'll come back to you. I know it will. And the moment it comes back to you, just interrupt and say it. Just barge
No
in.
context.
Like what were the last few points that we went over?
The Lizard put up a good fight against Strange because
Before that.
Strange captured him. Hello, Peter. Hello, nephew. Green Goblin coming back. Andrew Garfield, Spider-Man being considered stronger now
Juice,
because of what the Lizard did with
there
Electro.
was one in between that. There's
Or,
one we got
with
to the Sanctum
Lizard.
Sanctorum, but
Yeah, when he
CJ
has him
didn't
in
remember
there.
what it was called.
Because he brings back Ock. So now Ock has been captured. The Goblin is out free. And then there's also Sandman and Electro, who we haven't met yet. But Strange gives him his mission and says, capture them all and bring them here so I can send them back.
Yeah, I can't remember. I like how they were.
Please, Scooby-Doo this shit.
I like how they like hinted at the later in the movie. They just never went straight into it. Hey, is this your? Do you have a Spider-Man? Yes. Is this him? No.
Yeah, but they never go any further, like or anything.
Yeah.
Like it's meant to tease you. I forgot a joke from
Yeah.
earlier. Remember the whole thing of like when you said we can use this spell like to make people forget, and you're like, no, you can't use it. Like, dude, do you remember that party? No, exactly.
And fucking Wong is just like, damn. Just, he's like, he got
And
me.
he's like, leave me out of this. And he just goes to the portal, Wong. There was another thing too with Strange and Doc Ock, where he's all like, hey, how did you do that? Lots of birthday parties.
I love that little throwback too.
Yeah.
Because that was a fucking skit they did too.
Yeah.
What was it on SNL or something like that?
Lots of birthday parties.
And it's funny too because doesn't Iron Man throw a nod at that too?
Probably.
Like when they first meet each other, he fucking says some shit to him.
Dude, there's so much in this movie, man. Like, I could talk about it beat for beat because every part is that good. It's a very well done screenplay if you can do
I
that.
was wondering, I was like, damn, I was like, why is like when I first heard like for No Way Home, I was like, damn, I was like, why am I hearing Doctor Strange is gonna be in this? Like I was like, I wonder what he's gonna have to do about it. And then
He's
started
pretty
hearing
prominent.
more and more about it. And I was like, oh, that makes more sense now. Oh,
You left, I
oh.
was dangling over the Grand Canyon for 12 hours.
I love that one of the
That has
Spider-Man
the
gets
same
snapped at him.
energy as Loki. I've been
I've
falling
been falling.
for 30 minutes. It's the same energy. Speaking of which, fucking Thor
fucking rage in
Ragnarok
his
is such a
eyes.
good Marvel movie too. That's by far my favorite Thor movie. I didn't
That
like
is
the first two.
legitimately-
I love Ragnarok.
Legitimately, the only time we see Strange wear his yellow gloves. After
Yeah.
that, fuck him.
Okay. Here's something pretty unique. Remember how in Far From Home, Peter forgets how to trust people because of Quentin Beck, fucking Mysterio. So, Mysterio says that he's from Earth 616, right? And now Tom's all
Which-
like, "Oh my goodness, the
which is the
multiverse is
main
real." Like, and don't they bring
Marvel
up in Far
canon
From
from
Home?
the comics.
Right. So that's like a subtle knock
Fun
knock
fact,
there.
folks, MCU is Earth 1999.
Interesting. So then Peter, they actually hint in that movie beforehand, wait, there's a multiverse? I wonder if there's other me's. Right? Like or something like that. What happened in the next movie? There you go. But anyway, like the multiverse is real because Peter says in this movie, Tom Holland says, wait, the multiverse is real? Because Quentin Beck lied to him, like he made a fool out of him. So he's like, it's real? Wow. I thought that was a nice touch too. See, like it's things you remember. It's big payoffs. Okay, so Strange's plan to capture the villains. It's a pretty simple plan. It's pretty foolproof. I put this on your webbing, shoot this at him, and it'll bring him here. Easy enough. All right. that's when Spidey heads off. There's also like a little dialogue to where like they mentioned how like it makes no sense. Doc Ock is like, wait, you're going after who? Like the Green Goblin, like he looked like a giant flying green elf, like or something like that, right?
Well, he sounds jolly.
Yeah, he's all like, well, like, yeah, and he's all like, you can't be going after him. He died years ago. So that's your first little subtle hint that the time spaces that they were pulled from is all very different. Tom heads out. He has to invert his suit because someone threw a green slime at him earlier that won't wash out of his suit until Aunt May does it later on. He goes out in the inverted suit, which we saw in the trailer. Some people thought that was going to be the symbiote. It was not, thank God. This movie didn't have room for the symbiote. And that's when he runs into Electro and Sandman. And Sandman is still a good guy, which lets you know that this Sandman was plucked from the end of Spider-Man 3 when he flies off after having the heart-to-heart with Toby. That's this Sandman. But he can't take human form for some reason. He just always looks like sand. And then there's Jamie Foxx's Electro, who was plucked from right when Andrew Spider-Man destroyed him. When he overpowered him and like he blew him out, he is plucked just from that because Jamie Foxx even does a joke. He's like, you know what? The last thing I knew I was about to blow up and then, oh shit, yeah. Like that, right? So that, Jamie Foxx had a lot of good one-liners in the movie too. He definitely gave a great performance as Electro. Some people will say that he made up for his performance. He didn't give a bad performance in The Amazing Spider-Man 2 to begin with. So no, he did not make up for things. He actually brought a different spin to the character and made it better somehow. He's a hell of an actor. Good note. For all the Amazing Spider-Man 2 folks, when Electro first appears and shoots at Tom, it plays his theme from the Amazing Spider-Man 2, the dubstep, the bomb bomb. I never thought I would hear that on screen again. Never. See,
Also,
see,
fun fact,
I'm getting into the nerdy stuff now, right? Because I'm a super fan, but it's yeah.
When Green Goblin, you forgot about this part too, CJ. When Willem Dafoe's Goblin, remember they transition and they redo that scene from Spider-Man 2 where he puts the spider suit in the trash can. Except in this case, it's in the dumpster for the Goblin suit.
It's the Goblin in the back alley. Yeah.
Yeah, and he crushes the helmet. And here's the reason.
Well,
why.
we haven't got to that yet because I think that happens after the encounters
Does
with.
it happen after with?
No, I think you're right.
No,
it happens
it's
before
before.
because it was still daytime for the Goblin and it was nighttime for that encounter between Tom, Sandman, and Electro. So yeah.
So fun fact, folks, I know a lot of people still really love the Green Goblin attire that went down, but a lot of fans were had some problems with it because they're like,
people hated it back in the day. Yeah,
it didn't follow continuity because it was Willem Dafoe, and we knew what he could do. That people would just say, "Oh, just give him a fucking hoodie and just let him be him."
Yeah.
And what did they do here?
They made up for it. See, like Marvel listens, dude. Like they listen to the fans big time. Star Wars,
They're
take
like,
note.
Hey, look at what Sonic did.
Star Wars, take note. Take note, Star Wars. Anyway,
I saw a meme where
and
it's
take
like
note
a
WWE
Spider-Man
as well. All
that
right.
has Spider-Man No Way Home on it, and it's just slapping the back of the head of like a child, and it just says Star Wars. Like, that's how you finish off a series, bitch. And it's the fucking 9th movie.
Accurate. Bro, Tom's getting 3 more movies. I'm excited about that too, but we'll get to that. So they stop
Shot a
Electro and oh my gosh, the tree being shot and sent back. You know, my mom, when I played the movie for her, when they made the joke about, yo, what's up with this tree? My mom genuinely believed that tree was a secret villain that was going to like unveil. And I'm like, no, it's just a joke. It's just an accident. Like, no, but she genuinely thought that tree was significant. No, he just missed a
They
shot.
open the thing. They open the thing, and all of a sudden, like an actual villain pops out of there.
It is I, Mephisto, hiding in this tree.
Oh my gosh, that would be the funniest yet sickest thing ever. Anyway, but, Tom manages to capture Electro after he gets a taste of a new energy, this new Stark World energy. So now he's not blue anymore. He's yellowish gold and looks more like comic Electro, especially
And what did
later
I
in the
say?
movie.
What did I fucking say? I got it wrong on the Whiplash part, but what did I say? He's gonna get his hands on fucking Stark Tech.
Yeah.
Called that shit.
That's why they're all kind of different. So with Jamie Foxx's Electro, now that he's yellow and he looks different, it is asked, why do the villains look different here in this verse? Well, first of all, Doc Ock doesn't. The Green Goblin doesn't. But Andrew's villains do. Well, Electro does and Sandman. But the Lizard still looks the same too. So why does Electro look different? It has to do with his energy type, because he is completely composed of energy now. So now that he's got this new energy, he's a different person. Jamie Foxx even says in the movie, as Max Dillon, because he's like, nah, I like who I am here.
Also, the Amazing Spider-Man 2 is supposed to be on like realistic energy like ours,
Yes.
and a lot of our energy is on healthy stuff. Whereas in the MCU, Tony Stark has made his all clean,
Yeah.
which could be the logic there.
And he
Also,
keeps
CJ,
saying
I have a
throughout the
question.
movies, I want to try out this new energy I have. I can
Also,
all
CJ,
that.
I got a
So,
question for you, since you probably remember the Amazing Spider-Man 2 better than I have.
yeah, what's
Everyone
up?
who's pulled in are people that know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, right?
That is only speculated, because if that were the case,
the other Goblin
Norman
motherfucker.
knows, Doc Ock knows, Sandman knows because of the very end of Spider-Man 3. See, but here's
Technically,
why
all
that's
the
not
other
true.
days would come. No, wait, no. Nope. Sorry.
Here's why it's not true. The Lizard, wait, no, the Lizard knows.
He knew.
He
Yeah,
knows.
he knew.
Electro is questionable, but you could make a loophole for Electro that he saw Spider-Man interacting with Gwen, and he had saw Peter and Gwen earlier, so he pieced it together. However, Doc Ock is the plot hole. Doc Ock does not know that Toby is Spider-Man until the very end. He
yeah.
says, Dr.
No,
Octavius, he was plucked from before that moment.
No, CJ, his moment is when he grabs him by the throat, right? And then he takes off his mask. So he gets plucked before Peter gives him that speech that turns him good.
No. Because he says, no, I had him and I was about to kill him. He wasn't about to kill him in that moment. The moment where he was about to kill Toby was when he had him upside down. And he's like, let's see you scurry out of this.
What if
And
it
he
was all
stopped MJ
speculation based?
from behind. I'm getting to that. And when he stopped MJ, he's like, let's see you scurry out of this. And when he tries to stab him, but Toby webs up the wire and he electrocutes himself, he got plucked from there. That's where he got pulled from.
Are you sure?
Yes, because if he had gotten pulled from the water, he would be wet and the arms would be malfunctioning from being in the water. Because that happened in Spider-Man 2.
The only reason I'm unsure of it is because
And these filmmakers pay attention to detail. So,
what if the timeline, because he ripped the people from there, it altered certain scenarios from happening?
On that note, all of them knew who Spider-Man was has to be speculation too. I don't think that's concrete. I think it's speculation from Strange because of the parameters of the spell.
Let's see. The spell was everyone to forget Spider-Man.
Except for this person and this person and this person and this person, but it malfunctioned. Yeah.
And it only brought a few people.
But it was about to bring everyone who knew who he was at the very end.
Let's realistically think, right? Goblin finds out who he is.
Yeah, pretty early on.
Ock finds out who he is, right?
He's the potential problem.
What if instead they're plucked before they find out? So that's how they forget.
No.
So in this case, you know how your scenario pops up?
But
wait, how does he already know
when
he's Peter?
Ock is asked, do you have a Spider-Man in your verse? He's like, yes. Is that him? And Tom is unmasked. Doc Ock does not hesitate and says, no, that's not him. He knows that his Spider-Man is Tobey Maguire. He knows that. They ask it to Willem Dafoe too.
I'm trying to make sense.
You're
of it,
not Spider-Man.
Either there's only two spots he could Ock could have got taken from. First one is the one you described, or option 2 is when he grabs him by the throat right as he unmasks. It's one of those 2 spots, right? Now, if it's your spot, Ock might have already known. Because there's nothing saying that Ock couldn't put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, like for because he says, I should have known Osborn wouldn't have the spine to finish you. And then he also says the whole thing because he takes Mary Jane. And when Ock comes in to fight Tom, he says, I should have killed your little girlfriend when I had the chance. So has he pieced it together? Because he saw Peter and MJ at the diner when he threw the car in, and Peter dodged the car.
Yep. Thing 2 is that nice little continuity with Doc Ock's tentacles. When they're white, he's in control. When they're red, they're in control.
They're in control.
So there's nothing saying that. And let's be honest, if Doc Ock is smart enough to make something that can conjure up the sun, I'm pretty sure he's smart enough to put 2 and 2 together. So it can also just be that with Jamie Foxx, when he was getting all this energy, technically all this energy in his brain, his synapses, he was able to get into a transparent state. What if whenever he shoots lightning or his electricity at him, whenever it made contact, he was able to not only hit him, but he's able to see everything about him.
This is some legendary headcanon right here, and I'm all for it. I'm all for it. All the way.
Only other thing I can think of is that he's seen, Secret like villain? You said.
Thank you, lady, for the clip.
He's seen Gwen and Peter hanging out at one point or another at Oscorp facility, and at some point his brain put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, I think that would be the explanation for Electro. Absolutely, because Max is a pretty intelligent guy, right? He works at Oscorp.
For a while, he still saw himself as a hero, and I don't think he would dare go to that length of endangering another person at that point, like in terms of it being, Gwen, because he has his mother, so maybe he just wouldn't go down that route. Harry, on their hand, fucking will go down that route for that verse.
For Andrew Garfield, Spider-Man is fast as shit if you think about it. Taking on a guy that's shooting, speed of light energy at you, bruh. Anyway, okay. Let's keep going. So he captures Electro. Sandman is good, but begins to become
transition back
distrusting of Tom Spider-Man because of what happened with Electro. He's like, what did you do to him? Did you kill him? And that's where the Sandman begins to lose his trust in Tom, because at first
they really had to fuck with him a lot just
they had to be a bad he doesn't guy. Trust anyone. Yeah. Because he was never a bad guy in Spider-Man 3. He was never a bad guy. Because the reasoning for him is that he just doesn't trust anybody. DTA Austin, don't trust anybody. But so that was his reasoning, and it makes sense. He just wants to get back to his daughter. It's all he cares about. Look at this beach in chat right now too. Anyway, mum is the word. Man Ray. In regards to the Sandman 2, when he first shows up, he even says, "Hey Peter, it's me. Do you remember me?"
What's going on?
Yeah, and Peter's like, "Do I know you?" And he's all like, "Yeah, you don't remember me?" And then when he sees him without the mask, he's like, "You're not Peter Parker." Yes, it is. He's like, "You're not Peter Parker." And he's like, "Yeah, I am." Anyway, so when all the villains have been captured,
the fact that he just inherently trusts him from the jump.
Yeah,
said a lot
because he thinks he's Toby. He thinks he's Toby at first because the mask is on, and that he just has a different suit. Right now, for the Goblin, I think they really improved on Willem Dafoe's Goblin, because the first Spider-Man movie already did him well. They made him better. Oh my gosh, when they said that, the theater erupted to the memes. Anyway, I'm something of a scientist myself.
Shit and eating grin.
I made sure to cheer too. Norman is struggling with the split personality. This movie really displays it. It keeps in line with the first Tobey Spider-Man. He really is Norman Osborn. when he goes to Feast and meets with Aunt May, and he's like, yeah, like I came here because it said that I can meet Spider-Man here. And you're not Spider-Man. Who are you? Right? Because he knows Toby's Spider-Man, not Tom's. And Norman then proceeds to help in trying to fix all of the villains. And it's legit initially, but the question becomes, and you gentlemen can speculate on this, when did the Green Goblin re-emerge?
CJ, you forgot to cover one thing though.
Oh, no. I'm not, I know where we still are in the story, but this is just a question that happens to be a little bit ahead, but we're not going ahead.
I mean, if you just cover this next part, that's literally the following part.
Never know which is really Norman or not, Alicine.
Covering Doctor Strange versus Spider-Man.
That's right. Epic
Because
battle and Math wins.
Did you kill him? And then he webs Sandman in, and then he Strange tells him, well, they got to go
Strange is ready to send them all back. And he's like, wait, but they're all going to be killed.
He's like, sorry, kid, but it's for the multiverse. Their lives ain't worth it.
Right.
And then he webs him. I love that. Like, he tries to stop Strange. He's like, really? And he just walks right through it. And then Sandman tries it. Like, what the fuck? And then
like
we see
the ensuing
Ultra
battle was
Instinct
awesome.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And he's like, all right. And then just unconscious spirit or soul not inside. And he's just.
And you can see the comic style spider sense around his head in that scene when he's out of his body.
Funny thing too, like Strange is like, your body should not be doing this. What the fuck is going on?
I also think that was a hint at something from the comics as well, to where Spider-Man or Peter Parker does have the potential to use magic, but chooses not to. I think that was a little nod at that too. A little nod.
We definitely saw someone who could use magic.
Oh yeah, we're getting to that. But Spider-Man beats Doctor Strange by skill, not in a straight up battle. He uses math to outsmart him in the moment, and Strange is left there for 12 hours out of the plot.
Man uses geometry to beat him.
Right. He's like, wait,
see, kids?
I can do math. I can do geometry.
Stay in school.
Stay in school.
Stay in school. Focus. And when your life needs you to beat a fucking mystical wizard in a altering dimensional different plane of a reality and existence, you too can beat him as long as you have spider webs and spider senses.
That's right. And you can do math.
Okay, you're probably not going to win, but you can think that you can beat him. That'll show him.
So he comes back and he brags that he beat Doctor Strange, and then the villains are all like, "Why didn't you kill us?" And then MJ's like, "Because that's not who he is," which is true.
Meanwhile, Tony Stark would have been like, "You're right. That's how I am."
Yeah, Stark would have said, "Yeah," but like these villains should already know that from fighting their versions of Spider-Man. That's not who Spider-Man is.
Well,
he's not just gonna kill you.
Well, to be fair, one of them, like, okay, so the only people who really shouldn't know that is Goblin and the Lizard. Shouldn't know that for themselves. But people like Ock, who have seen that, oh, he got impaled by his own glider, but nothing said that Spider-Man could have or could not have stopped it or prevented that. You know what I mean? There's nothing saying that. So in their mind, maybe Spider-Man is not exactly against killing.
Yeah, they have a bias. Yeah, because of the way that their battles went. Great fight between Peter and Strange. Quick Easter egg, probably not, but the train in Strange's world totally looked like the one from Spider-Man 2. I'm just saying. Okay, anyway.
It probably was.
Just putting that out there. Tom Spider comes back, gathers all the villains, works on fixing them. Okay? All right. The Daily Bugle is trying to get a scoop on Spider-Man, Peter Parker, blah, blah, blah. The villains agree, but reluctantly, blah, blah, blah.
That when Electro walks by the camera, it actually stops for a moment.
I laughed during that in the theaters, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. I laughed at that pretty loud. for no
Also-
reason because the way he looked into the camera, just like. It's
While you're thinking about it, CJ,
Yeah,
fun
get around
fact,
the bugbear
folks,
ass nigga.
you'll see on Happy's, he has a bunch of keys and stuff. And I believe one of the earlier Iron Man films, he tells everyone just to keep their one key, not have multiple keys. And this asshole had multiple keys because he kept losing them.
Such subtle,
kept forgetting
funny jokes. Look at that. Anyway, villains can limit time. All right. Yep.
Then begins the process.
Oh
of
yeah.
fixing.
And
leading
MJ
into
and
CJ's
Ned keep
question.
the button in case they
Yep.
need to press it. So like if Peter calls him like, "Hey, push the button," things went
Hey,
wrong.
shit went south.
Yeah.
Bullshit. And the
We find out later that would not have worked anyway, perhaps. Anyway, so
Well, no, I
Spidey
think
and the
it
villains
would've,
team
but-
up, and oh yeah, right. It was the Goblin's
Yeah, so-
bomb that ruined it. Yeah,
Yes.
Okay,
So, folks,
okay.
we're getting back to on track where CJ's initial question was, when did split personality become
Yeah,
a one
when did it-
mindset?
yeah.
When did the Goblin overtake Norman Osborn? Because the process starts happening where Doc Ock, the first person they're trying to fix is Ock, because he's
And
the
it
most,
works.
surprisingly, he's the most hostile one. They put it 2 and 2 together. The chip that crushed that he needs to get fixed. They fix it with the same technology that he used from Far From Home to make his new suit to take on Quentin Beck. And that's technology they use from there, applying that knowledge and then taking the information they have about Doc Ock. And both Mr. I'm quite a scientist myself, Willem Dafoe, Norman Osborn, and Peter actually end up changing Doc Ock for the best.
And they
And
cure him.
he gives him back that missing chunk that was bugging the shit out of me every time he goes in the Iron Spider suit and just has this tie there. He puts it back and then he gets the gold around him fucking clean.
And then Ock gets to work on helping cure too because he is too a genius.
I think
So now there's
honestly,
3
right
geniuses
there
working.
is where it stopped.
So like the line was like, Norman, no more evil half. And notice the camera angle, like, and how his back's
Because-
turned, and he subtly turns, he's like, yeah, just me. Like the way he says it,
Because I
just
think-
me.
I think he was willing to let Norman just, mess around. But the moment he saw that, holy shit, he could really fix people, that's a problem for me. So that side
Yeah.
of the Goblin went into survival mode and was like, okay, I cannot let this happen.
I think he really was Norman for like a bit of the movie too. He really
Yeah.
was Norman, because like the back alley scene shows you that Norman is resisting and breaks the mask. That mask is still left in the universe too, by the
But
way. Just
even in
putting that
the
out there.
first Spider-Man, we saw that eventually the Goblin becomes completely dominant after a while. That persona takes over at a point. which still
Gradually.
falls in line with continuity.
Yeah.
And
Speaking of which,
we
where was that
are not
goblin plucked
entirely sure
from?
when he takes him. That's what I was about to say. We don't exactly know where he's taken from.
Yeah.
He never
At
says
which
when he
point
gets
in
taken.
Spider-Man 1 was he taken from? Is it the final battle before Toby turns it around and beats him?
No. We'd honestly have to look into detail on that first shot when we see him, when he's still in full armor.
Yeah, like, and
I would
he looked that
would-
clean up until Toby dropped the wall on him at the very end. So it could
would
be the final
probably
battle.
say that that's the part right before he picks up Spider-Man from Jameson's at the Daily Bugle.
Interesting, because he comes
Either
on the
that-
glider.
Yeah, either that or he.
See,
The alternative.
that one's kind of
The
hard.
alternative being is that it's the first time he fights him, like
Oh,
the very
the Unity
first time
Day
they encounter
Festival?
each other. Yeah, where he.
yeah,
Remember, how does he start? How does he make his entrance in that one? He
Yeah.
chucks a bomb.
yeah.
So
And it
I
makes
might
sense
have to say
too.
that one.
You know what? I think you're on the money because this Norman is able to resist. But as that movie went on, the Goblin took
As we were-
over
yeah, As we
more.
were saying,
Yeah,
the more and more it goes on. So it has to be very early in the film when the Goblin gets picked. So I'd say
There
the
you go.
first encounter.
that's a great point.
That'd be the
That's a great
only
point.
way that it only lines up by the time that Norman is just completely out of control that the Goblin wins. It lines up.
So
Oh, So we lead into, as CJ was saying, 3 geniuses working on fixing the remaining members. They already have something in place for Electro. They're working on, I think, Sandman and the Lizard next.
Sandman and Lizard are up.
So they're working on those 3, the last 3, and then
I think they really saw that the one they should have did first was definitely Norman. Definitely. Not
Honestly,
Ock, because Tom had control of Ock anyway.
I kind of want to agree, but alternatively
Hindsight is
speaking,
2020.
What's to say the Goblin didn't just
Sabotage
react
it
faster?
when they were working
Yeah.
on his. Yeah.
'Cause-
Which he did, because May shoots him with it and it doesn't work.
And what's to say he does that and it doesn't work, and all it does is make the Goblin take in full effect? What if that's what that was? Puts him in full control. And instead, he just tampers with everything. So instead, we don't even get a good Doc Ock.
Just May.
So
You'd
really,
be doomed without a good Doc Ock.
honestly, if I wanted to play the long game, knowing what I know about Goblin just from the first film, I would say we'd work on him last. I would want to get...
You got to take
the
Electro
biggest-
out of the
Yeah, I
out
was
of
gonna
the-
say,
yeah.
the 2
Yeah.
biggest threats we need to take out of the way first are Doc Ock's mind, because he's incredibly intelligent. Then we have to take out Electro. Then we have to take out Sandman. Those are the big 3 I would focus on. Norman would be the next one, and then the Lizard, because honestly, the Lizard's the weakest of the bunch. And I'm saying that lightly. So from there, as they're fixing everything, CJ, I believe,
the
Juice
spider sense
again,
starts
break
going
it
off.
The funny thing is, as that happens, the first person in field of view to come up is Alfred Molina, right?
Yeah, he's
Doc
like,
Ock.
and everyone
But
is
he's
saying,
picture
"What's
perfect.
wrong, Peter?"
He's picture perfect. But the second person that comes in is blurred, as you can see. And who is it?
It's the Goblin, and
Exactly.
he
It's
says
Norman,
too,
because it's
and he's
not
playing the
Norman.
role too. Like he's all like, "What's wrong, Peter?"
And he's looking around because he sees all these potential threats. They're like, what's going on? And then just without hesitation, it's, "Whoa!"
Oh, that's some neat trick you have, that sense. And then the Goblin gives a reverse motivational speech that convinces especially Electro, yeah, no, I still want my abilities. These are not curses, they're gifts. We don't need to be fixed. Electro snatches it off when it's one tick away from
That's a
fixing him.
reverse line straight from the end of Spider-Man 1,
Yeah.
ironically enough.
So snatches it off. He takes the arc reactor, and this is for the super fans out there, baby. Electro takes that reactor, and he becomes the god form of Electro from Spider-Man 2 Enter Electro, the game. The one that was pure energy and damn near unstoppable. And Spider-Man had to use the Twin Towers to stop him by having lightning strike and siphon his energy. So Electro gets that, and from here on in the movie, whenever he uses power, the shape around his head is the comic Electro mask. Nice detail. Nice.
I love Amazing Spider-Man 2 Electro design, and I love this version too.
Yeah, I like the
Literally,
blue one
weakest
and this
version is-
one.
The weakest version is literally the comic book version.
Yeah. But this one literally became the one from the second PlayStation 1 game. I thought that was so awesome. I was like, I can't believe they did that. That's so cool. Whoa. So Jamie Foxx definitely gets redemption, as many have put it, because he wasn't written right in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. In this
He was
movie,
still brilliant in that
he
movie.
wa-
though.
right. He was still brilliant. It wasn't his performance, it was the writing. And he was brilliant in this one as well. All the villains escape. Electro says, I liked you better before, Ock. And like he knocks him out of the building. I thought that would break his inhibitor chip again. You'll find out if that did or didn't happen later. Ock leaves. The Lizard breaks out of the truck. It's like the Lizard knew this was the plan. Like he and the
Well,
Goblin.
No, he saw Jay Jonah
thought it was
pull up
out.
and he heard the cops. And once he heard everything go to shit, he just like acted.
He said, and that's my cue, time to go. And he got out of there and he told Peter, he said, I told you what happens when you try to fix people, Peter. Right? And then like he leaves. The Goblin spine busters and power bomb Spider-Man WWE style through the
Holy shit, though,
building.
too. We see
Some
'cause
Joker
was it-
moments there with the punches and like they do nothing and he just laughs. Very Joker-esque. Willem Dafoe absolutely could have played the Joker.
I was watching
Absolutely.
when I watched Spider-Man: No Way Home. What was it with the missus? She was like, "How come he's not getting affected by Spider-Man's punches?" I was like, "Well, you got to remember,
There's multiple reasons.
Goblin takes the equivalent of a super soldier serum. So just know if Captain America can whoop Spider-Man's ass, the Goblin can too. And
In the
most likely
comics,
too,
it's an offshoot of
Spider-Man-
the super soldier serum, but it's not
And-
perfect, of course, that drives him crazy.
yeah. And this iteration of where he's pulled from is a super soldier serum.
Yep.
It's
Military
and
research.
yeah, and also I'm pretty sure Peter's not is probably pulling his punches a bit. Once we
That
find
is
out,
the
yeah, he
main
definitely does.
one. He is put Spider-Man. Every version of Spider-Man always pulls his punches. In the
feel
comics,
like
when the superior
especially this
Spider-Man,
one, though.
yes, the Tom
Because
Holland one
Tobey's
especially,
version-
yes.
Toby's version already had killed somebody. He had very little reason to hold back. He had no superheroes that actually like defined it and set the bar for him.
He's the only hero on
was
this
the
verse.
bar, pretty much.
Yeah,
Same with Andrew Garfield. He was hungrier to kill, and he had less reason to hold back against powerful foes like the Lizard who could regenerate. So not holding back works out for him.
he blatantly addresses pulling his punches too, but
Yeah.
we'll get to that.
Holland Peter is definitely the most innocent of the bunch.
He's the greenest. Yeah, like he's the green. And when he's punching,
Ironically.
the goblin like is literally saying to him too, like, right. He just laughs. He knows he's holding back. In the comics, when Doc Ock stole Peter's body in the Superior Spider-Man, he went to prove that he could be a better Spider-Man. He got into a fight with the Scorpion, punched him once, and knocked his whole jaw off his body. And it was then that Doc Ock realized, holy shit, Spider-Man has been holding back on all of us for years. He could end all of us.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The
So
fact that any of you fuckers
he
got
is
close
strong. He just holds
was because
back.
of his own ignorance.
He holds back on purpose. Big time. And that goes for all of them. But anyway, the Green Goblin wins the affair. Duh. And Chris, you joked about this one earlier. You got to take it from here and talk about what happens when they get to the bottom of the condo. Take it away.
I'm trying to remember in detail because I only saw the movie once.
Oh,
I
just
don't-
give it the best.
No
Like, it
excuses,
doesn't have to
bitch,
be
I
in
did
detail. It doesn't have to be excruciating detail. Just
Okay. Juice, I'll remind
everyone
you
died. The
the end. Juice, I'll just walk you through it and just pick up right when you remember, okay? So as we were saying, Goblin and Peter are throwing hands, and he's literally slamming them from like I think the 8th floor all the way down
all
to
the way
first floor.
down. Yeah.
Meanwhile, Aunt May has been going down the steps this whole time, and eventually they get to the first floor. Then Aunt May injects him. No effect.
Placebo.
And then
However,
calls in
there
his-
is speculation that weakened him. It's speculation. It weakened him, which puts the final fight into a different perspective.
I don't think so.
I don't think it did either. Yeah.
I feel like
He was at full power
Goblin,
still.
Goblin probably screwed with that, and it just put the Goblin persona in full control. That's all it probably did.
Probably.
And then what was it? She's about to try and she's like, let him go, or I'll smack you with this pipe. She's in full mama bear mode, knowing that she probably can't do shit to him. And
He's
Peter's
all
just
like, bitch, please.
"Oh, run, man!" He's like, "Oh no, hot aunt
I remember where the
with stick."
Hello,
Glenn,
ladies.
Who just brings in and just hits her. She flings across. And then he jumps on. He has the hoodie on, really looking like his comic book counterpart.
Yes. Yes.
Does he? Okay, am I just remembering this wrong? Does he go itsy spider? And just
That's the
fucking
first
chucks a grenade?
movie. That doesn't happen in No Way Home, but it happens in the
And
first Toby movie.
I put that scene in my head. when
Down
that
came
happened.
the
He's like,
goblin and took the spider out. And he like even throws the bomb. Willem Dafoe is fucking goated, dude. Anyway, but
fucking just
the
he
way
chucks a
Willem
grenade
Dafoe
juice.
looks over at her, does this, like he's telling Tom Spider-Man, you had better go jump in front of her 'cause I'm about to do something. But Tom does the movie, he's like, bing, and throws it at May, and Tom eats the explosion.
And then after the explosion, Aunt May's just like,
Yeah, like the movie didn't make it seem like it was too bad.
I was like, oh, okay, shit. I thought she was gonna be
Yeah.
like unconscious, fucking.
I thought she
broken.
got stabbed by the glider
Yeah,
when
I
it
was
hit
like-
her.
how did this like? No, I didn't even think that. I saw her get hit from the side of it, so I knew that didn't hurt her. I was like, all right, well, she's knocked out or she's got something broken.
No, she
Or I was
definitely
like,
did
all
get
right,
stabbed.
I was like, all right, if the
Yeah.
grenade didn't blow her into chunks, then she's got shrapnel somewhere in her. And then
Like
she got
Tony
up,
Stark.
and she picked up Peter, and I was like, damn, Peter, you a little bitch. Look at how May just fucking no superpowers.
He said,
Just like,
I think
all
I
right,
have
Peter.
broken ribs. Suck it up, Buttercup. You're Spider-Man.
Like, what? Do you see me have any superpowers? You know what I get? A menstrual cycle. That ain't a superpower. Fuck you. Stop being a bitch. Let's go. And then she's like, oh, what was it? It's basically
there
that
it
scene
is.
from Team.
Uh-huh.
It's that
I know
scene
what
from
you're.
Team 4
yeah.
Star where he's like, yeah, big guy, is that all you got? Oh, there goes all my insights.
Yep, and he just passes out.
So that's pretty much what happens to Aunt May, unfortunately. She's like, all right, Peter, oh, there go my insights. Catches her. He's like, oh, Aunt May,
Very
what's going on?"
heartwarming.
It is very emotional.
Well, before
Like,
she collapsed too, there was the with great power line. You finally get
yeah,
that.
accurately said this time.
Yes.
I'll say this though, Aunt May's death hurt a lot more than any other Uncle Ben because we only had one movie for each of them.
We had her for
We
3. Yes.
we had her for more. Remember,
well, 3
6
Spider-Man
films-
movies.
There are 6 films Spider-Man appears in, and she appears in Civil War.
Yeah, so she appears in 4 of them.
Yeah, so we have her for 4 technical films because obviously we don't get her in Infinity War, we don't get her in Endgame,
It's
so we can have her for 4 films entirely.
yeah, because it's Civil War, Homecoming, No Way Home, and Far From Home.
No Way Home as well now too. And now let's look at this too. We've never ever have seen Aunt May die. It's always been Uncle Ben. This is the first time we see Aunt May die.
They don't
And
even
she
address
says
Uncle
the
Ben.
comic accurate version. I may get this wrong, but it's like with great power must also come great responsibility.
It's close enough. It's there must also come. Yeah, that's close enough.
Yeah.
You got like yeah. It's the comic
Uncle Ben
accurate
never
one.
says the comic accurate version. Aunt May says the comic accurate version,
With
and it
great
actually
power.
holds a lot more meaning because this is the same woman that was taking care of him, after the whole Uncle Ben incident, after his parents are dead, taking care of him, like teaching him how to dance for his first dance, being there for him, finding out his secret and still keeping it, but trying to do better, encouraging him to do all this that led to her death. And she's even saying, you didn't do anything wrong. You did everything right. There's
The
nothing wrong
Goblin
with what she
was
did.
see. That's the dangers of the Goblin. The ideology. He tried to break Toby, and he saw that he couldn't break Toby. He tried to break Tom. He almost got him. He almost
He's
got him
still
when she
all
died.
the way to the end too.
Yep, almost got
We'll
him.
get to that later, folks.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, Aunt May dies. Happy gets there too. Watches
Yeah.
everything happen, and he's trying to he's even yelling, "Run, Peter, run!"
Yeah, and he gets
then
arrested.
Peter doesn't even get to grieve because he's there holding her, and someone takes a shot at him and hits him. And we know how his spider sense worked. His spider sense worked when he was getting snapped out of existence, getting ready to let his body know, something's happening to you. So his spider sense probably activated when that bullet came. He ignored it and took the hit anyway.
I think it hit the suit anyway too. Don't forget he's wearing the suit.
It hit him. Blood comes out of his arm.
I don't recall that.
It 100% hit him. So that could have been like Peter.
No, like I know it hit him. Like I'm saying that the suit took the blunt of the force.
No,
that's how he's able to continue functioning throughout the movie.
No, but here's the thing:
if he actually gets shot, he'd be in trouble.
Not necessarily. The suit can protect him because it's nanomachines.
Yeah,
here's the thing:
that's what I'm getting at.
I think he let himself get hit because Peter was in a dark place at that time.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
right when that
I
happened,
agree with that he didn't care about the shot.
When the bullet comes, anything that's happened to Peter, spider sense goes off. So the spider sense went off. He has complete control of the nanotech. He let himself get hit. That says a lot. And then he went off and was on his own. And then we cut to MJ and Ned. And then we find out Ned's a fucking wizard.
Yeah, well, I think it's because of the thing he's wearing, but...
Yeah, the ring.
Yeah.
No, the ring just helps you do that easier. If you guys remember Doctor Strange, it's easier for you to tap into, get the whole circular thing down.
What a pussy.
You need to
do magic on your own.
You need to actually possess some sort of magic. Like, you need to actually study.
Not just anyone can do it.
Yeah, the previous Sorcerer Supreme went into detail saying the study of religion and science, knowing biology and all that stuff. Like, all this stuff is key essentials to learning magic. And Ned should not be able to do that easy, because even with that ring, Doctor Strange, who had a lot of prior knowledge of all this stuff, struggled to do this, to make one. They had to put him on Mount fucking Everest and was like, you either make a circle or you fucking die. That's it.
Oh my gosh.
Ned just did this. Show me Peter Parker. Done.
Okay.
Ned has a lot of potential.
Whoever says the famous great power line always dies within 24 hours in the Spider-Man movies. Anyone ever realize that? Like, for the Uncle Bens and Aunt May, they die within 24 hours of saying it. Like, it's a general rule of thumb for Spider-Man.
Bro, one of them says it, all of a sudden just gunshot right to the face, right after.
Yeah, to be fair, when Aunt May was down, I was like, all right, the cops are gonna come and it's gonna be ambiguous. We're not gonna know if she's gonna live or die. But then she said, with great power, but also comes great responsibility. I was like, oh fuck, she's dead.
Yeah, bro, that's people who were like, ooh, it's over. It's all over.
Shut your mouth. I was like, shut up. Don't say it and you have a chance to live. The plot will thicken. Nope.
It's like the comic version of something valuable just being dropped down an entire cliff. It's like, I think it's okay, and then all of a sudden it just explodes.
It's a SpongeBob moment. Was it every time?
Squidward,
and an explosion happens? Yeah, that whole mess with Squidward. Was it? Hey, I can't find the coin slot and the kitty rod. Here it is. Oh, I love fucking
So the
SpongeBob.
Goblin exposes Peter as being weak and timid, and he's left with nothing.
Look at Chris flex that Cobra Kai shirt.
There's just nothing left. So back to Peter, back to MJ and Ned, and Juicy, you gotta remember this. The way that whole scene went.
Juicy.
You gotta remember the way that whole scene went. Like, that's the most prominent scene.
You want me to keep going and then just once you remember, Juice, you want to pick it up?
No, I remember this one more because it was just it actually made.
You should remember this one, dude. Everyone lost their fucking marbles on this one.
Dark Alley. After the little
not yet.
Shows up.
No.
Wait.
No. Not that yet.
There's a lot of in between.
Yeah, not that yet. No. It's like they're sitting there, they're talking. Ned's grandma, all that. And then, Peter, hey, yo, Yam, what's up, man? Haven't seen the movie yet? Understandable. Don't stay. In the nicest way possible, get the fuck out of here. So no spoilers. We did a non-spoiler talk 2 weeks ago for last episode, though. Go see that movie ASAP. See you soon.
If you haven't seen,
much love,
Pretty much watch all the other Spider-Man films because the villains come from there, and there's a lot of subtle nods to previous films. for Spider-Man. So make sure before you watch Spider-Man No Way Home, you watch Spider-Man 1 through 3, The Amazing Spider-Man 1 through 2, and then you watch Homecoming, Far From Home as well, then watch No Way Home. If you can't, then fuck it, just go watch it.
If you can't, do it anyway.
You're going to miss some subtle details. Watch Spider-Man No Way Home, go back, watch films, and then get your ass back in the theater and watch it again.
Exactly what the B said. I've seen this movie 5 times, no shame. Okay, so like this talk,
Watched it once, I got the whole thing memorized.
I did after the first time too, not gonna lie, but then I watched it again, I was like,
That's what I said. It's like-
I was like drooling from the mouth.
Mostly everybody remembers this film like almost beat for beat. It's like if you go back to watch it, it's just because you want to rewatch again, which is perfectly fine.
And to speak for our missing fourth who is not here, he has already told me that he's went to the theaters and saw it 3 times. Young Mark Y, who's not here with us for this episode, but he saw it. He said that this is the movie that he's seen the most in theaters. Like, he just goes back and watches it. Anyway, all right.
I don't think
MJ
I've
and
ever
Ned.
gone to watch the theater more than once.
I have.
Yeah,
MJ
to
and
watch
Ned.
movies, right. Have the whole discussion about what to do with the box. They have no contact with Peter. They don't know what the hell is going on besides seeing that something happened at Happy's location. And they're like debating what to do. And then Ned's just there with
I
the
just
ring
wish
on
we
his
could
finger.
see
Like,
him.
I wish we could see it. That's right. And his hand goes up and we see a little
And then it's like a little
spark.
something happens and he's like, huh? And then and just like, do it
MJ
again,
is
do it
the
again,
one-
do it again.
MJ's the one that catches it. Yeah, he's like, I wish I could see Peter Parker. He's like, and then he keeps trying it. And again, reiteration for those of you who watch Doctor Strange, this opening a portal is not easy to do. It takes a lot of magic, concentration, focus, and everything.
Ned must be
A
very
young-
talented.
Yeah, no fucking joke, dude. He has
Yeah.
more potential than Doctor Strange himself.
Yes.
Because it took Doctor Strange having to be in a life or death situation to do that. He opened a portal twice. Like the first few attempts, he's not even really trying. Because he's not doing the spell correctly. He's just waving his hand and saying something. But he gets up, he's like, I wish I could see Peter Parker. And then the first portal opens up. Juicy, this is where you were starting off. Go.
But yeah, so he says I want to see Peter Parker, Dark Alley figure, and
Peter.
Theo Peter
Peter.
tell me. So
Penis Parker!
And he's like,
Come
oh.
on!
And then he doesn't do. He's all like, oh hey, yeah. But he starts running out.
Why did he run so goofy?
Yeah, he was like,
Is it just me, or was he running like the PS1 Spider-Man? I was waiting for Spider-Man does whatever. Like, look at my head not move. That's what he was fucking doing.
now at this point in the movie, people are erupting, and I'm like, why is everyone erupt? That was me.
I was too. Because
I was like,
I saw it,
why is everyone? And he wasn't there yet, but the closer he gets, and the closer
he
you see,
jumped
and
in,
you
I was like,
see the eyes on the suit. Take it away, Juicy. Oh God.
runs in, and it's freaking Andrew Garfield Spider-Man.
And I was like, like I was going crazy. I was like, and then, oh God.
Yeah, I only saw it once. You guys.
Oh,
So then-
he's like, wait. He takes a mask off. A bigger
Because-
eruption happens. A
Yes,
bigger
because
eruption.
it's
People,
confirmation it's Andrew Garfield.
people
They-
exploded, and I was one. And I don't just mean exploding here,
So,
but
folks,
oh my gosh.
what follows
I'm
up?
erupting
So
for you,
when Ned
Bingle.
opens up the portal, he says, "I wish I could see Peter Parker." A Peter Parker showed up.
Yeah,
Just wasn't there, Peter.
and then
Andrew
like
Garfield's
it's
Spider-Man
very
comes
funny
out
too.
in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 attire, just to preface. And Ned's not as like, what the fuck is pretty much going? He's like, no, I'm friendly. He takes off his mask. We see Andrew Garfield. And he's like, look, I was on my Earth. I'm Peter Parker in my world. But one day, I just popped up here. And Ned and them are trying to explain what's going on. But after the whole
Well, they
event
asked
with
him to prove
Mysterio-
it. Yeah.
MJ says to prove it. And it's funny because she throws bread at him. He's like, why'd you do that? He's like, I wanted to see if you have the tingle. He's like, oh, I have the tingle, just not for bread. And he's
Prove
like,
it.
you're a very mistrusting person, and I respect that. And then he jumps up, and then he just
One
has
arm,
one hand,
one
just
hand,
one hand,
Yeah.
just hanging, just
and they're like, crawl around. He's like,
crawl
not gonna
around.
crawl around.
He's like, this is enough. He's like, it's not enough. This is enough. And then she throws bread at him again.
Garfield
And then
slips
Ned's-
right back into the role.
Ned's-
Wow.
Ned's Nana comes out again and was like, oh, she was just saying if you can get the cobweb since you're up there. Just puts the mask in his mouth, crawls, cleans it, jumps down. He's like, okay. And funny thing too that Andrew Garfield Spider-Man said, which caught my eye, not only did he get excited and nerd out for the whole multiverse thing, and they shared a same line with someone else, which I'll get to in a moment, but he says magic is real here too,
Yeah.
which means something happened after the Amazing Spider-Man 2, which they might touch on in Amazing Spider-Man 3 if we ever get it.
I happen to believe we will.
Something happened way after the Rhino incident, because up until Amazing Spider-Man 2, we've seen no magic.
Which leads me to this point, Grego. As for when is this Andrew Garfield Spider-Man plucked from? I happen to believe personally that it's 2024 in No Way Home. That's the year. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is 2014. I do believe it's 10 years later. It's 10 years later. It's not him from The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Because he even says things later. I think it's him 10 years later.
He's older.
Yeah, he's
He's
older.
not- yeah,
So,
he's
like,
way
it's
older.
him 10 years later. So he's been
That's why
Spider-Man now for about 12 years.
That's
Andrew
the whole
Garfield
reason, too.
Spider-Man.
The only reason
He
I think
probably already
Sandman
fought
never...
Sinister Six.
The only reason Sandman never reverts back to, I think, how he looks, I think it's just because they couldn't get the actor because he looks
They would have
too
had to
old.
de-age him like a bunch. But I think
Like-
the in-universe mode has to do with the dimension hopping. Is why like
Maybe.
he doesn't take
Well, because there's
human
there's
form.
nothing indicating that he doesn't want, like, that he can't change back. There's
Yeah,
never
he
been
just
that
stays
problem.
in sand form.
Yeah, he just stays there. I think that's more of a precaution more than anything. But, like, they took Alfred Molina and Willem Dafoe and Jamie Foxx, and the Lizard they didn't have to worry about. But everyone they changed to look specifically like the role they were in during that same time period of the movie, which is why Andrew Garfield looks older. He's supposed to be an older Spider-Man already.
Yeah, he's like the middle ground one. Tom is still 17.
And
Andrew
then-
at this point, I'm gonna say 27 is the age of
Probably.
his Spider-Man, like around that age.
And then MJ and Ned say, well, I guess we got to keep doing it until we find the real Spider-Man. Ouch.
Oh, boy.
No offense.
Ah,
And then he goes,
subtle jab.
show
how
me
people
Peter
treat him.
Parker. Show me Peter Parker. And a portal pops up behind Ned and MJ. We just see a silhouette of a man. And he walks out, and the crowd erupts
Yeah,
because
it was insane, dude.
it was Tobey Maguire.
It was like
And
I was
he
at a sporting event,
just-
like a live
just
sporting
like
event.
Andrew Garfield slipped right back in this role. Tobey Maguire slips back in this role and is this nerdy, goofy, and
Ned's fucking
adorable
grandma is instantly like
nerd.
attached to
Hello.
him because of his face, and he's like, "Hi," right? Like
And
just
he's perfectly doing the way he talks, where he smiles and he talks while he's smiling. I can't mimic it because my mouth is not shown, so y'all better fucking know what I'm talking about to mimic this.
But he's like,
I
"Hi."
hate you both.
Hate you both. And when Toby came back, you saw my reaction for Andrew. My reaction for Toby, I was like a seal. Like I was like,
I stood up
I
out
was
of, like,
going
people
crazy,
in
dude.
my theater. We all stood up out of our chair like we saw fucking Jesus Christ come
Yeah.
out of the goddamn
Yeah,
portal.
but there was mass uproar, like
Like, we were-
crazy.
We were hardcore Christians and Catholics, just like, Jesus said, today is the day he'd be showing up.
I bet
and
it's
Jesus came through.
Jesus. Dibs on
And we were
Jesus.
excited.
And
Hey, look, it's Jesus' death army.
we
Well, then
see
that didn't
something.
sound right.
Thank God you got that reference. We see something that I never thought we would see. Toby's Peter meets Andrew's Peter, and the way that Andrew comes, like that same look he had in his movies where he's like that, and Toby almost transitions into Bully Maguire, like he's just.
Before you get into that, though, the difference in how they carry themselves that shows a maturity.
Yeah, they're more mature now. Both are.
Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man came in the spider suit, which means he was roaming around as Spider-Man in the MCU, which means he was trying to find Peter via doing it dressed as Spider-Man. He was trying to find him by being dressed as another Spider-Man. Meanwhile, Tobey Maguire came through dressed just as Peter Parker. He went with a more discreet route.
A human approach, like a less noticeable.
He's older and mature. He went the much smarter route. And he even said, "Oh, I'm looking for your friend. He's looking for Peter.
I've been looking for him everywhere."
He's like, "Wait a minute, he's not your friend. He's not your friend." And it's funny because they both react the same way, which means both of these Spider-Man have probably encountered a Mysterio of their own, and maybe that's the magic they're talking about.
Toby's was Bruce Campbell. We know that. That probably happened after Spider-Man.
Yeah,
3.
I don't know about Andrew Garfield, but they encountered a fake Spider-Man at some point in their life, and that's why they reacted the way they did. The two Spider-Men see each other without hesitation, will try to web one another, and both do the same backflip, but when one lands, the one with more experience wins the fight. And that's, of course,
he webs this web shooter
without hesitation.
Yeah, and Andrew just looks and he just goes.
That's the funny part.
Yeah, I like he was impressed, and then like they smile at each other. They're like, all right. So that was a nice moment too. And you pointed something out great there too, with the way they found Toby compared to how they found Andrew, where he's dressed in a civilian wear. That's how Toby used to walk around in his movies too. He always had the suit ready to go under his clothes.
Was legitimately the only superhero in his series.
The only one. There were no others.
And it's cool because you see the beat of how they carried each other. Peter Parker or Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man realized the benefits of being Peter Parker because he went through that crisis of, oh damn, like that whole midlife crisis where he loses his powers.
And they mentioned that in
Spider-Man
the movie
2.
That he had a blockage.
But Amazing Spider-Man only felt the loss of what it felt like not being a better Spider-Man, which makes sense of why they came out the way they did. One focused on being a stronger Spider-Man. One realized the importance of being Spider-Man and Peter Parker.
Bruh. So then the topic of where's your friend? And they're like, we don't know. And of course, the wisest Spider-Man of them, actually, before we go, we did it for Andrew. We have to do it for Toby. When was Toby plucked? I would say same rule as for Garfield. Toby has now been Spider-Man for 20 plus years.
Well, remember, I'm going to stick with the actual headcanon of when their movie's released. I'm going to say that's how long they've been Spider-Man for.
Yeah, so 20 plus years.
Yeah, so his
because
age
it's 2024.
And I think
which will put him at 22 years. 20.
Is it 2002 the film came out?
2002. Yeah. So 22
so he's been
years.
Spider-Man since 2002.
So there you go. So he's been Spider-Man for 22 years. Andrew's been Spider-Man for 12 years because The Amazing Spider-Man is 10 years after Spider-Man 1. Right?
Also,
okay,
from here on out,
and he's now 47, 49.
Yeah, he has to be in his late 40s.
Late 40s
He's
now.
late 40s for sure. And then Andrew Garfield would be like around his mid 30s, I'd say.
In reality, he is, but
maybe our early 30s for character-wise.
Yeah.
But
Bingo going crazy right now. Fucking emotes.
I definitely say going into this too, the awesome thing is like people were speculating like, oh my god, is Tobey Maguire just gonna rule the show? No one speculated that Andrew would be center field on this. It was either gonna be, for some reason, Tobey Maguire was gonna be the main focus or Tom Holland.
Yeah.
One of the two. And it's not to be a dick to Andrew Garfield. It's just the middleman is definitely not taking center stage.
Yeah,
it's just the OG.
It's the middle child.
A stronger role,
yeah,
or the new one. And really, Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire were great supporting characters in this, considering
And
that
they
they're the
made sure
same
to say
people.
on set, we don't want to steal the thunder from Tom. So
Yep.
they actually had a
Which is the
say
most
with
Peter
what their
Parker thing on
characters
both
were
of them.
doing. Yeah, like they had to say and said, we do not want to take the shine. We are not the main character. We are here to support.
Amazing part of this whole thing too is that like Tom helps them with something later on down the road.
Yeah.
But for the first part, getting Tom out of his rut, Andrew and Toby talk about their places to go to when they needed to think. So that gets MJ thinking where Peter is, which is where we already saw in the earlier part of the film and technically the trailer. So they go up there to his high school where he just wants to be at peace and think. And they show up, and this is where they start lamenting on their failures. Start talking about like, oh, you know, it's like, oh, before my aunt died, you know, with great power, and then Toby kicks in, just says, comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
He's like, how did you know she said that? And then Andrew goes, because Uncle Ben said that the day he died.
No. Andrew says, Uncle Ben said it. And then Toby says, the day he died.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
But still, like, those two, it's funny that they both bring up Uncle Ben and they're standing on a platform higher than Tom. It's more of like a legitimate, like, oh, these are the two Spider-Man that you have been compared to for years now. These are the two you had to live up to. And here they are teaching them how to rise from this low point.
He was a little hostile when they first showed up too, naturally, because of what he's been through.
Understandably so. It's been a long day.
It's been a very long day.
Out of all the Spider-Man, Tom is clearly the most catered one out of everyone. He has the entire Avengers behind him for a long time.
The Avengers? Awesome. What is that?
Is that
Are you in a
I love
band?
I love that nod to Infinity War, because fucking Mark Ruffalo does that too. He's like, oh, the Avengers, we broke up. And he's just like, well, you like the Beatles? I was just like, oh, that's fucking great.
The band's
but
back
they
together.
go over this, and then he goes over like Toby goes over his greatest loss being losing Uncle Ben and getting revenge for killing. Like, those are his two biggest failures. Where Andrews is still kind of similar. He loses Uncle Ben, but he also loses Gwen. I love the way he puts it. He's like, she was my MJ.
Yeah.
And that just hit differently. And even says like, he's like, I'll never be able to forgive myself for that. And he goes into detail saying like, but it got to a point where I stopped pulling my punches. So at some point, he was killing these bad guys.
Yeah. Which now,
Like,
quick diversion on the road, Morbius trailer, murderer spray painted on the wall. I'm just saying, even though the Spider-Man on the wall is Toby's, not Andrew's.
Spider up the wall.
Can people really differentiate?
Yes. You can tell because Toby's webs light up.
No, I mean, like,
Andrews are black.
Like, I know we can differentiate.
Oh, but
as
like,
fans.
Can the common person differentiate? Probably not.
Yeah, in the MCU, they can. So
that Morbius trailer is so confusing, bro. It's like all three verses and the Venom verse. Which one is it? Like,
yes.
Honestly,
yes.
They would have benefited a lot more having either Tom Holland Spider-Man on there with the murderer thing or Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, because like we said, the two people actually walking around as Spider-Man
because of the end
are actually Tom and Andrew.
Oh,
no, I know why it can't be Tom, but
something we forgot to mention. When Toby comes to the portal, a slowed down version of his theme plays. These are the nerd things.
Where was he?
And the website, he was just walking around, looking.
No, but did you see the building he was in?
Yeah. He was just walking around.
That?
He was probably he may have actually been showing up to the locations after it was over.
Oh, that would make sense.
Potentially.
He's investigating.
I would have liked to have seen this in the movie too if all three, that's why Tom's spider sense was going crazy, because the other spiders were nearby, but they just missed him. Like their spider senses were sinking because they were close. That would have been interesting. But back to the present here. It's a very heartwarming moment where they come together in Peter's spot. Wow, big pause. Anyway,
Hey, I feel bad because I normally don't do this. I'm probably gonna have to head out because I have work at 8:30.
oh, okay. So we're gonna hold on. Cinnamon roll?
I got a bunch of cookies. I'm all set.
Oh, okay, all right.
Thank you though.
Cinnamon roll, Gregor?
I have Coke to snort.
Okay. Understandable. We're gonna wrap
do
this
drugs.
up
You're
here,
in the mask
Juicy.
too.
I'll do your drugs for you.
Huh.
I thought you were gonna drop that.
Almost good. Almost good.
All right, so we'll move past that then. But a very touching moment. They have all three of them. The two previous Spider-Man teach our current Spider-Man how to rise from the darkness and use that, and how to essentially make it work. And we hear Tom in his darkest moment because he even says like, "Oh, he's like, I don't really care. Like that's your problem now." He's like, "Because if I see that goblin, I will kill him."
I'm not paid to advertise them, but petite cinnamon rolls.
We just get sued.
You have to pick him up. I don't think we can get sued for advertising them. Now, if we claimed them as our own, then yes, that would then definitely they would sue the shit
Of course, I
out of
made
Because
them.
it's mine.
They're me.
Then we get
Wish
sent
I was
over
that cinnamon roll.
because they're already
You were.
in the school. They use the lab and they immediately go over, okay, we need to fix this person, this person, this person. And Andrew Garfield immediately is like, well, I already fixed Connors once. I can fix him again. I love that he's in a little lab coat already.
That's
Like,
what he used to
because-
wear in his movies.
Yeah. All three Spider-Men are all different. We have the photographer, the scientist, and then we have...
Andrew is the most intelligent. I believe
Yes.
he's. I was talking that over with Sly Guy the other day. Look at Hen in chat. Where the fuck was my notification for this shit?
Good question. But
Well,
Yeah,
we're
so
spoiling the hell
Toby-
out of this movie anyway, so like it's good you're late.
Toby has the most experience.
Yeah.
I'd say Andrew is the smartest.
Yep.
But Tom is a mix.
He may be the strongest.
Maybe.
He may just be. Yeah. Oh, okay. We gotta wrap this up so Juicy can get to going. But if we have to, the Beast and I will continue to. So there was so much I want to say about the three spiders. Yeah, so like they're doing the things in the lab where they're trying to cure everyone, and we lost him. He's back.
I was about to say I could just head out now because that way it could just be you two actually going back and forth.
Okay,
There
my
you go.
boys, you can go now if you'd like. Ladies and gentlemen, Pence Fan 1,
Juicy doing
the
the juicy.
juiciest mother trucker there ever was.
Heading out. Check it.
You'll be with us next
All right,
episode,
Juicy.
folks.
Enjoy your juicy.
Happy New Year, Juicy. Have a great day at work, too, man.
Thank you.
I'm gonna make that a thing. I'm gonna keep saying juicy doing a doocy.
All right, Craigo.
Gotcha.
This is it.
Oh.
So,
Hang on. Sorry, you may have to take it from here for a quick moment. I'll be right back, Dog King.
okay. All right. Ladies and look how he just stands up in his lair. I read a thing once that Toby was the best, Andrew was the best Peter. Toby was the best Spidey, Andrew was the best Peter, Tom is the mid ground. I have so heard the same thing, and Craigo's back. He's black. I mean back. I mean black. I mean back. Oh, right. He's in a phone call. Never mind. Okay. Well, hi. So, ladies and gentlemen, the three Spideys are working in the lab. Wait, what?
I said as I came back, my mic disconnected.
Okay,
so
all
that's
right.
why-
The three
Okay.
Spideys are working in the lab. Andrew just casually says, as was said earlier, oh, so I cured Dr. Connors already. And both Tom and Toby look at him like, all right, smart guy. Right? Like, geez. And that's also where
I feel like they were more like, thank God I didn't know how to cure that lizard boy.
there was some subtle stuff there, too. They're like, okay, there, smart guy, right? At the end of the day, like, you're still me, so there's nothing to be jealous about. But then, ooh,
Actually,
Ooh.
hand other way around for that one.
wait,
Toby
what?
was the best Peter Parker, Andrew was the best Spider-Man, and Tom is the is
that
managed
tends to be
balance
the
both.
general consensus of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
close, but all the way around for Toby and Andrew.
So like they're making the cures, and I hate that Hen came for this because he probably hasn't seen the moment, but this is the spoiler stream. The point that we were saying better happens in this scene.
No. Wait, are you talking
When
about?
Ned calls, he's like, "Hey, Peter." They're like, "Huh? Me?
Huh?
Him? Me? Because I'm Peter too, Peter." And like, so like the point happens in the movie, and that's
Which
only
is
the first
funny-
time. Like it happens
Which is
again
funny that
later
you say that.
too.
Which is funny that you bring that up when he's like, "I'm
What
Peter
about
and he's Peter
Zendaya?
too." I wonder if that's where they brought up the number system
Yeah,
later on.
like it seems just like Peter 1, Peter 2, Peter 3, and
Peter 3,
Andrew. That Kyla died laughing
Andrew-
at that.
dude. Andrew,
Yeah, he
is the
stole
most
the
adorable
show.
one. Yeah,
He
did.
stole the show. That's why
I
people are
love-
riding his nuts now, because he stole the show in that movie.
Yeah, well, we the OGs were always riding his nuts.
The OGs already knew how great Andrew Garfield was. He's the best actor of the three in reality. Look at his career outside of Spider-Man still.
Yeah,
And that's saying something, because Toby and Tom are great actors.
Tom's growing.
Yeah.
Tom's growing still.
And Toby
can't-
has an
we can't
established
judge that.
career. Toby's career is established.
Toby might be one of the most diverse, though. Too.
Yeah. He's a very decorated actor.
Yeah, Toby, like all
that's
three
it.
of them
Cheers,
are
buddy.
really good.
I thought. Oh, okay, all right. Anyway, but so they get the cures ready, and they
I
plan
have
to
a
go
really funny
cure.
moment though.
Oh, excuse me. To go cure that. As you're talking about the web shooters.
Well,
Yeah.
actually, before that, before they get to that too,
Oh, like the best friend.
MJ and Spider-Man like have. I forgot about that actually. Good thing you brought that up. Tom Holland, Spider-Man, and MJ are like having a moment together. Andrew sees it and he remembers, and then Toby looks at me. He's like, "Hey, so has
We
they got
have someone
anyone
special.
back home?"
That's kind of
he's like-
savage because he already said earlier, "I lost my Gwen," and Toby.
Well, not really. He doesn't know if he.
I don't
like,
mean
moved
it's
on,
actually
so-
savage. Like I don't mean that, but
Yeah,
but he's all like, "You have someone special, right?" Because he heard like about what happened with Gwen earlier, and in the original version of the Amazing Spider-Man 2, Shailene Woodley was going to play MJ, and they were going to meet then, and then Gwen dies in that
to me
movie.
at the end, at the after credits, he sees her for like a quick second.
I don't recall that, but I do recall his dad being alive in a deleted scene for Andrew Garfield's Amazing
that's the scene
Spider-Man.
they swapped out.
Yeah.
That deleted scene was supposed to be his dad, but instead they show him looking at like the girl who's supposed to play MJ. She was hot.
Shailene Woodley. Anyway, but so I assumed that he was going to say, yes, I actually found my own MJ. Well, we can only assume now that after the events of this, that he's going to go back and find the Shailene Woodley version of MJ. I would like to think.
I don't know because supposedly they're working on a Spider Gwen with Emma Stone.
Which will complicate things because he'll be with the Shailene Woodley MJ.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Gonna
and then
devastate him.
CJ brought something up really funny too. Was the
Ew, Emma
where Ned
Stone.
goes up to Toby and he's like, "Oh yeah," he's like, "Do you have a best friend?" And he's just like, "Yeah, he died in my arms after he tried to kill me." I was like, "You really did Harry dirty," because last time I checked, he took the
Yeah.
fucking.
He
javelin
took
for
that
you
blunt for you, like, and died for you. Why would you say that?
because he remembers all the salt that he fucking jumped him, got Ock to try and get him so he can kill him.
He took his
And then-
girlfriend.
Yeah, and then he made MJ dump him. He's like, you know what? Fuck.
He was, fuck Harry. Harry can get my.
He's like, what's he gonna do about it?
Oh, yeah. He's dead.
Fucking went to his tombstone and wrote Goblin Jr.
Ha ha ha, you're dead parents. Ha ha ha.
Hey, Harry,
You just
don't
hear
have
Harry's-
with your dad?
Harry's ghost is all
You
like,
both
your
got stabbed
parents
by
are
your
dead
stupid
too,
glider."
Peter. Like, you didn't have
He's
to
like,
go
"Hey."
there, little Goblin Jr. Anyway, so like the final battle comes up. It's at the Statue of Liberty, which is being
You forgot the live shooter part?
it's being oh yeah, it's right. And okay, so he's like, yo, here's your web shooter fluid. And he's all like, wait, what? Your web shooter fluid? He's like, yeah. And he's all
the
like,
cartridges for, and Andrew and Tom are like, oh, great, perfect.
and he's all like, what? Speaking of which,
He's like, what's that for?
the web sounds for each of the 3 Spideys are their exact SFX from their individual movies. Exact.
Yep. I appreciate
And it's
that.
beautiful. It's
I
beautiful.
love that Toby's the whole time is just like, what do you guys need that for? For our webs. He's like, what do you use? Just does it like, what? I like how they freak out.
They
Like, okay,
flipped
he's-
out, and Tom's
So-
reaction was like he was so butthurt at first, and he's like, anyway, we got something to do.
So Andrew's already got his suit on. And then we also have Tom clearly has his on because of the nano machines. And then I love that Andrew's like, okay, so we both got our suits. What are you going on as young pastor?
But and then
And
he
he's
just
like, and he's like, oh,
like, I
yeah."
always come prepared.
I was like, didn't he do a Superman thing at one point? He's like, "Ah."
Yes.
You know what's funny? I did that, and look at, "Ah."
yeah, I see it.
It kind of works.
You love me, Bingle. That's right. Hen and Bingle do love each other. I love to see them love each other on film. We're getting off
The
topic.
weirdest hate boner.
We're getting off topic anyway. Statue of Liberty. They're giving the Statue of Liberty Captain
Tom
America
Holland
shield.
does his video.
Oh
to the
yeah, that's
Daily
right. Like the
Bugle.
Daily Bugle address. I'm making him sound like he's Abraham Lincoln, the Gettysburg Address. But anyway, he goes on and says, "Look, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man could really use your
Friendly
support
neighborhood
tonight.
President Abraham Lincoln.
Could really use your support to not get shot by John Wilkes Booth." Anyway, but yeah, though he gives a heartfelt address, and it's the last time too that you'll get to talk to the city
We'll
like
get-
that.
we'll get into
We'll
that
get to
later,
that. So final battle, but before the final battle, and I could have had 3 hours
They
of
have
this
a
alone.
geek out.
I could have had 3 hours of that alone. I would sit in a theater just to hear the 3 of them share stories of what has
Just literally
happened in their
walk
careers.
in the room, sit down, and they just talk to each other. I
Yeah,
would watch
like a
that.
pod. Marvel should do something like that in podcast form.
Spider-Cast.
Yeah, they should do something like that. That would be awesome. I tune into every episode. So like they shared it all like, so does webbing come out of anywhere else? And he's all like, are you making fun of me? And he's like, no, she's not making fun of you. It's just wondering like, we can't do that. So like,
yeah.
how do you do it? He's like, I don't know. Like, it's like breathing. He's like, okay. And then fucking Andrew is all like, because I have to make mine in a lab. It's a hassle. Like I've
Yeah,
run
dude.
out of webbing before.
Honestly, Andrew Garfield is legitimately the bottom of the barrel because he has the hardships of Toby Peter.
And the
but he
handicaps of
has-
Tom's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have the Avengers and all that. tech backing
yeah,
him.
he has the roughest, right? So,
Yeah.
and then Oscorp just keeps making bad guys in like in Andrew's verse too. So it's like, dang it, man, give me a break.
He has the worst possible end of all that.
Right. So everybody wants to kill him too. But and he never found who killed Uncle Ben. Andrew,
True.
or at least he never says it, because it is
Yep.
brought up that Toby got revenge, but it didn't make anything better. Andrew remained silent.
Also,
He doesn't
we
say
kind of
anything.
found out that it was Flint Marco-ish.
Oh yeah, right. But they don't address that retcon from Spider-Man
an
3.
Accident.
Yeah, Toby doesn't address that retcon, right? So, but anyway,
Because wasn't Marco implies that if it wasn't for his friend's stupidity, he wouldn't have shot Uncle Ben. So technically, he
Right.
still did it.
his partner Dennis Carradine surprised him from behind. Final battle. The villains are coming. It's epic. I'm not going to say too much about it, but the most important parts are
Don't forget that part where they
their teamwork
he
sucks.
talks about having what was it? They're going over. Tom brings up, oh, what are the craziest villains you guys have fought? And he's like, oh, I fought this black alien goop from space, and then
Tom's like,
Tom
really?
cuts in.
I fought
He's like,
in
"Oh."
space.
He's like, I
Yeah.
fought an alien on Earth and in space, and he's like, I'm still getting over the fact that you said you were in space.
And then Andrew.
He's like, oh man, he's like, compared to you guys, I'm kind of lame. He's like, all I fought was a Russian guy in a rhino suit. I love that he's like, they both are like, wait, hold up,
They're
lame?
like, you are
He's like,
not
"No,
lame.
you are amazing.
Yeah.
I need you to say that. I was like,
How many times did they say it? 3. Amazing Spider-Man 3.
I love that because he got it was legitimate criticism on how people shit on his films, and I
And
still think
Toby himself
Amazing Spider-Man
says,
1 and 2 are
no,
good.
you're amazing. Toby himself. So there you go. And then like they would say, all right, guys, focus, here they come. Their teamwork's bad, so they number each other, like Craig said earlier, in maybe the fan-considered order of who's the best from best to worst. Honestly, after that movie, like, they're all fucking even. Like, it's like,
Yeah.
come on.
And
Like,
then,
you can't put any of them
interesting
above
thing, too,
another.
Remember how I said that the original 2 Spider-Man taught Peter how to rise from the darkness? Well, this is where our Peter from the MCU teaches them something that neither of them have. How to work. Well, not true, because actually Tobey Maguire worked with Harry that one time.
Yeah, but they still knew each other. They were best friends.
Yeah, so he teaches them how to work as a team. I love when they're when they just like, all right, he's like Peter 1, Peter 2, and then we already
Peter
went
3.
over the whole Avengers thing. Peter 1, Peter 2, Peter 3. I love that he just
Wait,
waves his arms
wait.
up like that.
I love you guys.
Yes, I was gonna do that right now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's so
Then they
accurate
have
to Andrew's.
One of the coolest
Peter.
moments I've seen since Avengers Endgame. Yeah, I'm putting it on that fucking scale. They
Agreed.
all 3 of them, and I hear I swear I don't know if I heard Tom Holland, but the other 2, woohoo!
Yeah.
And of
Not
course,
just that.
Toby,
It's a
Toby does his flip.
And the way that they all land is their
and
trademark
Andrew-
ways of landing.
Yeah, if you look at Andrew, he's doing that thing from from Amazing Spider-Man 2, where he's like gliding down like this with his back.
Oh, yeah. Like straight, like you see the ripples in the suit. Dude, the CGI in the Amazing
And the
Spider-Man movies was
webbing-
amazing.
And the
Amazing.
beautiful
No
part
pun
as
intended.
their webbing is Tom, when you see him, they shoot a web towards him, he grabs it and pulls them both. He's literally pulling his 2 spider brothers out from obscurity and bringing them back into infamy.
Yeah.
And then they do that superhero landing all together. Oh, fucking. We even called that analyzing everything, analyzing that whole video. When I analyzed it shot for shot, I was like, dude. you
By the
gotta
way,
tell
everyone
me-
was right about the trailer. Like they said that some invisible force kicked Lizard. Yeah. It was one of the other Spider-Men. Duh.
It was John Cena.
Yeah. Doo, 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 doo. And now this, Craig, something not too many people pick up on. In that swing together with all 3 of them, prepare yourself. A fusion, you can hear subtly all 3 of their themes. Subtly.
Wow. I definitely couldn't hear it when I'm hearing everybody yell.
People
And
were screaming and cheering. Yeah. Like
I was
crazy.
yelling too, so that didn't help.
Boom, 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 boom. But that was awesome.
Like,
They work together. I think they focus on Sandman first, and Sandman almost drowns Toby, snuffs him out.
Yep.
But save him. They have a heart-to-heart. It's okay, Flint. We're going to get you home. Up next
think
is, I believe, the lizard. Yeah, the
Yeah.
lizard's up next after he tries to kill MJ and Ned because Ned can't close the portal back, which is
Yeah,
no
not
fault of his,
perfect.
like, right? Because he's not a
Honestly,
missionary.
the fact that he's kept the portal open that
Very
long is-
impressive. Yes.
Again, if you've watched Doctor Strange, a lot of people who go to train over there, they can't hold a portal open that long. Even opening a portal is hard as it is. Hey, off the bed. Sorry, my dog's
There's like no bed over
She's
there
dirty.
for us, too. That's why it's funny.
Go. Come here. Come here. Oh, I'm gonna get her later. She knows it's.
I am clipping that. Hold on. That's going to be a good clip for
While
us.
you clip it, I'm gonna go get her.
Oh, I don't think I can clip it because I don't have the button, right? Because we're technically not live. Oh, that's whack. This is here for my stream. Clip button isn't here for... Oh, that's wiggity whack, son. That's wiggity whack. Whatever. If anyone's watching and you'd like to clip, you absolutely can. It's okay. I normally have a one-click clip button. I'm so used to spoiling myself with that. This is a really long podcast episode, but we won't be going for too much longer. Set up as a 3. So then they stop Lizard, and that's when Strange comes back and sees, oh, Peter's plan is working. And he's like, Ned, did you just open a portal? And he's like, yes. And he's like, huh. Anyway, so that's clearly hinting at what's to come. We also forgot to mention earlier, Ned promised that he would never turn evil. Well, we'll see about that. Anyway, But up next is, I think What villain am I forgetting? Electro. The three of them
they're getting their ass
fail.
kicked.
Yeah, like they can't hurt him because he's become pure energy, like the one from the game. Like he has
he's
like
also
arc
realizing
reactor.
too, like, oh, I should not fuck around. They took out 2 people I brought here.
Yeah.
Ew.
Remember what he says to Tom? He's like, Peter, don't make me a murderer. Right? And like they have, he has an interaction with Andrew, and he's like, you ain't even the shit no more. And he's like, ouch. Wow.
And then who comes to save us but Alfred Molina?
Right. We skipped something else too. With the lizard, Andrew actually gets to interact with him again, like, and they have an encounter similar to the first movie. Now, though, Andrew is clearly much stronger because he doesn't struggle with the lizard here like he did in his first
lizard
movie.
Gets on top of him,
and he gets him off.
He's like, the only reason he's struggling is because he's trying to survey the situation.
Right. Yeah. And
Because that's how
he
his
webs
spider
him
sense
up.
works.
And that's
He's
that.
like, once
he's
he understands what's going
hold
on,
on,
he's
Doc,
just like,
wait your turn. I'll
get
be
your
right
ass
back.
off me.
Yeah. He's like, wait
The
your turn,
first time
Doc.
he
I'll be back.
encountered him, it was not quips and jokes. He was like, what the fuck?
He's like, why is this guy so strong?
And he was running for his life.
Right. So, now, Dr. Otto Octavius, he's not Dr. Octopus anymore, saves the spiders, and they convert Max Dillon back to human, and he and Andrew have a heart-to-heart where Miles Morales is hinted at in the MCU. He's like, it's just,
Again.
I thought you'd be black. And like, it's a joke, but clearly it's hinting at what's to come.
Second hint.
Yeah, because of Childish Gambino.
Yep.
Is
when he's
is
still
the
locked
Prowler.
up, he's like, hey, Miles, sorry, I ain't gonna be home. Something
Right.
came up.
Yeah.
He directly says Miles.
Yeah. So we will be getting Miles somewhere down the line, I believe. And bold guess, that will be the death of Tom Holland Spider-Man, and he will pass the
I already
mantle
said
over.
who should be casted. Someone said Jaden Smith. Fuck off. Give someone else a chance. And he has fucked up enough things. Don't give him that. Will Smith, I love you, but your son fucking sucks.
And remember After Earth? Anyway.
No one wants to.
Yeah.
But I already said Tyrell Jackson Williams. That kid, that dude looks
He has
perfect
the
for it.
look.
He's already a Disney actor. Disney, if you watch this just to get
Man,
information on what the
speaking
hell we're
truths.
talking about, Tyrell Jackson Williams, you already have him with you. He looks like Miles Morales already. You can make it work.
Man, I can't wait for Across the Spider-Verse. Also, don't forget the subtle
If
joke.
he gets casted
Between
as fucking Spider-Man
want credit.
for Miles Morales, yeah, I want credit. I don't care if I don't get paid for it, but I also be like, yeah, we listened to that Asian guy that's on that Chicken and Rice podcast. Yeah, he was right. That's what
Don't
I'll be
forget the
like.
subtle joke between
I'll be like,
Electro and Lizard.
"Preaching over here.
It was earlier in the movie where he's like, Max, that's funny. Last time I remember seeing you had buck teeth, a comb over, like, and blah, blah, blah. And then, like, he says, like, how do you plan on fixing me, Doc? By turning me into a giant lizard, right? So it's about the time discrepancies. Back to the present, like the end of the movie here. Electro's back to normal. Strange is ready to send everyone back. Green Goblin appears again. Can the Spider-Man come out to play?
Also, as they're about to send everyone back,
And Toby senses
It
the
would have
goblin
worked.
first and knows it's a nightmare again.
what a throw by Willem Dafoe.
But he's always been a good
He
throw.
got the bomb in that box, blew it up, and caused
And no one noticed because he used the other Razor Bats as a distraction.
Yep.
It was genius. And
he
like
had
it
a
blows
lot
it
of
up
balls
and
to come down there, challenge all three
Yeah.
Spider-Men, and he knew they were all there. He came to fucking fight all three of them. Not only did he manage to do that, this fucker came as well with the intent on potentially fighting Doctor Strange.
bruh. But Strange
He
is
had
occupied
balls.
and can't help because of the box. He has to keep the multiverse together. So, because everyone who knows who Peter Parker is about to come through.
Yeah, and then
Everyone.
the explosion happens, causing
It like destabilizes the
Strange
box or something, or
and the whole Statue of Liberty is coming down. Then we have
the shield.
MJ fall off. And
Tom goes for the
Tom
save.
Holland goes for it, tries to get her, and just like in the comics,
The goblin
and in The Amazing Spider-Man 2 stops him. And then I love that without even hesitation, like just immediately after Tom gets taken, it cuts to Andrew. No, you see him mouth it, and you can tell this dude has relived this scene
so many times,
countless times, and he doesn't worry about the weapon. He focuses on his dismount and angling to catch her, and just uses the webbing to catch himself.
Genius, because he achieves it this time.
He doesn't even pay attention to his surroundings because he knows, like, his spider sense already cleared him. He knows where he's supposed to land, and like he processes it. And she's like, "Thank you," and she's like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "Yeah." And then he starts crying, and she has to ask him, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "No, he's not okay."
He just gives a subtle little, like, the acting is brilliant there. Nothing needed to be said. It was just
because it's two things that he could be crying are both the realization that, oh my God, I finally did it, or two, could I have saved her if I really just thought about it more carefully? If I had done this instead. Did I panic? Yeah. Either way, he's crying for one of those two things or both those things. I don't know. Either way.
And then there's the Tobey way of doing it. Remember how Tobey saved Aunt May in Spider-Man 2? He used his webs to catapult himself toward her. He didn't try to catch her with the web. He did this and catapulted himself to her. And he saved MJ in the first movie by jumping after her, and in the third movie by jumping after her too. So Andrew really struggles with that because he knows how to properly save someone because he understands physics, like in Force and all that, but he was so flustered in the moment that it overcame him.
And the Goblin movies, too. Andrew Garfield's movies take place in the span of like
2 years.
Yeah, it is really fast.
He's a green Spider-Man during that.
Tobey's 3 films take place.
It's only across 3 years. It's only across 3 years.
Because he's in high school, then he's already getting a job.
Yeah, but then Spider-Man 3 is only 1 year after 2, which never made sense to me.
You're right.
That never made sense to me. I thought it should have been 3 years later. Yeah, but it's not. So Tobey's trilogy is only across 3 years, which I thought it should have been 5 years, but what do I know?
Well, the difference is, too, is that Tobey is more, I think, accustomed to like aerodynamics and physics, whereas Amazing is more on the chemistry level. Which makes sense because one's good at making his own web shooters. He was able to cure Connors. He's more the science whiz. One's focused on, like I said, physics and aerodynamics, so he understands how the situation way better than his other counterparts. Well, maybe not Tom. Tom's just an expert in everything. He's the most dynamic in terms of his education, which will probably pay off for him the most. And then we get the throwdown between the first villain.
We should say that when the Sandman and Lizard are saved, it's reused footage from the movies, but edited like in different takes. I thought that was good. And the reason being that those actors aren't that age anymore. So it's the best you can do. That age anymore. So yeah. Like it's good that they made it look. It was updated.
Alfred Molina ages like fucking wine, and Willem Dafoe just does not change.
Just doesn't age at all.
He got to a certain age and just stopped. He just looked at it and was like, no, I'm not going to age anymore. But the body's like, but we have to.
We skipped something else too. The Tobey and Octavius reunion.
That's right.
He's like, Otto. He's like, Peter, my dear boy, it's so good to see you. He's like, you're all grown up, which is a nod to the audience. All you kids are all grown up who grew up on our trilogy. You're all grown up. He's like, how are you? What does he say back? Trying to do better. The same line he said in Spider-Man 2 when Otto said to him, Parker, now I remember you. You're a Connor student. Tells me you're brilliant. Also tells me you're lazy. And Tobey says back to him, trying to do better. And then he says it to him again here. For Otto, it's been a matter of days. For Tobey, it's been over 20 years. That's insane.
I wonder how much that alters their timelines too. That like they've saved a lot of these people.
We're gonna get to that.
Okay.
The MCU already establishes diverging timelines in multiverse. Like so we're gonna get to that.
Loki for that.
Yeah, well, that's how I know. I haven't seen Loki, but I know that Loki establishes that rule for the MCU.
Yeah,
and this takes place
I was wondering how they're going to set up the next big bad, because there are people in the Marvel comics more dangerous than Thanos. And one of the people I've been speculating for years was, well, I'll let you watch it, but just know that fucker is. No, you don't know him yet.
I feel like
maybe
Dormammu is definitely coming, though.
Oh, trust me, Dormammu is one of the biggest threats ever. Don't get me wrong, but there was someone else who I thought
and then
they would build up.
Galactus. When they bring the X-Men in, I think that's when they're going to really.
Four?
Yes, and X-Men villains though, Doctor Doom, like and all that. So I can't wait to see where they go with it. Oh shit, you're right. Sorry, X-Men, Magneto. Huh? I got you there. Okay.
There you go.
Silver
Apocalypse.
Surfer.
That's right, Fantastic Four.
But he was.
I was like, you're like at least 1 in 3 there, buddy.
The fuck he did. We're shooting blanks right now, brother.
I was like, all right, remind me to never fucking have CJ talk about the X-Men, because he's just gonna hurt me in the long run. Woo!
I hope that they try to pull the Days of Future Past storyline in the MCU. I already know they did it in the Foxverse, and it was awesome. It was amazing. Days of Future Past. I hope they do it in the MCU too. Just putting it out there. Okay. All right. Anyway. But back to this. The final battle.
Spider-Man, Tom Holland versus the Green Goblin.
And everyone else just watches. Toby and Andrew.
I will let you describe how everything went down.
Don't get involved.
But I want to also address the fact, well, the first thing Tom Holland says, he's like, oh, you thought you could, he's like saying like, oh, basically, you thought you can fix us. He's
Poor
like,
little Peter, too weak to send me back to die. And he's like,
and
no.
Fucking Tom, without batting an eye, just looks at him.
He's like, no, I just wanted to kill you myself. And he's like, attaboy.
I was like, oh, fuck. You want it? I was like, I looked up for some reason when I was watching the film. Like, fucking, I was going to look at Tom Holland and Andrew over here for some reason. I was like, one of y'all better do something. I was so immersed when they panned the camera down. I was like,
well, they do run over, like, and Toby looks back at Andrew, like, and he just goes, right? Like, that's it. Like, he has it under control. He'll hold back. He'll prevail. It's okay.
And just like Andrew was able to save Gwen, Toby got to save somebody. Also, before CJ covers that,
Toby saved 2 people. He saved the Goblin and Tom from going down.
Tom was definitely not holding back.
Oh yeah, not at all. That was a bloodlust.
He was bloodlusted. He could have crushed Osborn's skull. Like, caved that shit in.
That was bloodlust. Tom. It's a great battle. Tom outduels him, and he picks up the glider to finish Norman the same way that he finished himself in the first movie. He was just gonna fucking kill him in cold blood. Toby just teleports over there, stops him. Tom is like full of rage. Toby's holding him there. He's like, nah.
Pushing him down. Like, he's looking him in the eyes like, ugh.
And Toby's face tells the whole story. Again, just like with Andrew earlier, Toby doesn't need to say a word. You see it in his face. He's like, I know, I understand. I wanted to kill him. It's like, I wanted to kill him too. Because he's already fought this goblin. I wanted to kill him too. And to be fair, Toby probably would have killed him if the goblin didn't pull that Norman Osborn stick, because he was wailing away on him at the end of that first movie.
That goblin showed he was ready to kill Aunt May.
Yeah, and
MJ. The
difference
was he actually killed this one.
And MJ. Yep. He was like, MJ and I were going to have a hell of a time. That's what woke him up.
Toby got really lucky twice.
Yeah. So he stops him, and like you said, the scare of the century. The stab.
Yep.
The goblin takes advantage and stabs the Toby Spider-Man in the back.
I was like, dude, my fucking audience.
He finally got Toby. He finally got him after all these years. And yes, we lost to. I literally was screaming like, no, like that. Like, I was going crazy. Like, no, come on. Don't do this, right? One One last taunt from the Goblin as Tom is looking at him with the most evil Mangekyo Sharingan eyes. Just like, he's just looking at him, just like, he's all like, but you could have saved her, Peter. One last big laugh. Andrew with the big save throws the serum. Tom snatches it, bang, right to the neck. The Goblin is gone. There is only Norman Osborn now. And he's like, he looks over at Toby. He's like, what have I done? Now we're worried about Toby. Goes down. He's all like, don't worry about me. I've been stabbed before.
I was like, oh.
I was like, thank God. Oh my gosh. He's like, you're in a lot of pain, aren't you?
God, if he says with great power, I'm gonna fucking lose my shit because we know what's happening.
I'd have walked out anyway. But they get him up.
Where's the large chocolate man going?
And Toby's all like, am I dying, or are there people walking out of the sky? And like they look up, and Strange is really struggling to keep the multiverse together.
And we saw Kraven, Scorpion, Rhino, and
I thought I saw Juggernaut in there somewhere. I thought I saw Juggernaut.
Well, maybe, but someone was saying that those are all different variants of Spider-Man villains.
Yeah, and maybe some other folks. Villain. But no. Okay, look at it this way. In the grand scope of Marvel. Like in the comics, everyone's like Spider-Man has definitely fought the Juggernaut before in his own comics. Like they're all in the same verse.
No, I know, but I'm saying that someone was saying that most of those people were all supposed to be different variants of like Spider-Man specific villains.
The goddamn Juggernaut, bitch. I can't believe they put that in a comic back in the day. And then Batman took it later. I'm the goddamn Batman. Anyway. But
then they put in
we'll get to Batman eventually down the line. Don't worry, because the Batman is coming out in what, like months now?
I don't know. I don't give a shit.
I do. I can't wait to see to see the Batman, dude.
Around.
That's just gonna be
lit.
For
the Riddler. I
never thought I'd say me that. Too.
I haven't been excited for the Riddler since
Jim Carrey.
Robert Englund. No, fuck out of here. Since Robert Englund was Riddler in the Batman the animated series.
Robert Englund, what a dude! That's the second best Batman series, and that's why it doesn't get talked about, because Batman the animated series is so damn good. That's a topic for another day. I could talk about that all day, but that and Batman Beyond anyway. Okay, like Strange is like, they're all coming through because of you, and he's like, what if you made everyone forget about me, who I am? And he's all like, well, yes, it would work, but when none of us would have any memory of you. And he's all like, do it. And he's like, that's when he graduates. You're like, he's not a kid anymore. He's Spider-Man. It happens. It says his goodbyes to Ned and MJ, says he'll come and find them.
That last little shtick of
saying goodbye to his Spider Brothers.
No, where he's like saying bye to Strange, and he's like, oh, call me Steven.
Yeah.
Still
one last
weird.
time. Still feels weird. Everyone's sent back. Tom swings off. And I think about 3 weeks pass. 2-3 weeks. You see Peter goes to where MJ works. Is rehearsing what he's going to say. Gets there, sees them. Realizes that their lives would be worse with him. And does not do it.
Ironically enough, she doesn't remember him, but she's still wearing the Black Dahlia necklace.
And she's clearly still drawn to him too.
Yeah, some part of her, and that's just like, that's just the lore of Marvel for Spider-Man, that he's always destined to fall in love with a woman named MJ. In this case, his MJ, no matter what, is gonna fall for him.
Michelle Jones in this case instead of Mary Jane.
She's already taken attraction to him. And like that goes all the way back to Homecoming, where she already took notice of him way before she found out he was Spider-Man. She was already intrigued by him. She just wanted to learn everything about him. Just so happened that Spider-Man was part of that deal.
Bruh.
Because watch, CJ, when you go back and watch Homecoming, when they're in the gym talking about Captain America, where he's like, oh yeah, I stole his shield, and you see MJ in the background, she's reading a book. I can't remember what the book is, but the book is about an orphan boy who lives with his aunt and uncle. Again, that's very familiar.
why do you know so much about Peter? Like, that's brought up. Like, when she brings up what he's doing, everyone looks at her, and then she says back, I'm not obsessed with him. I just really pay attention. Like, or something like that, right? So, goes to the coffee shop, chooses not to reveal himself to him, gets his coffee, and leaves, goes back to his place. Wait, no, visits Aunt May's grave. Happy's there. Happy doesn't remember him. Happy's like, how'd you know her? And he says, through Spider-Man. He's like, same here.
Which answers a lot of our questions. A lot of people are like, well, what does that mean for a lot of events where Spider-Man interacted with everybody?
They don't
So
remember.
then
Well, they still know Spider-Man.
Yeah, they know Spider-Man. They just, everything about
They don't
Peter
know
Parker,
Peter.
I guess in this version, he never reveals his identity or some shit like that.
Meaning Tony never knew his identity. Meaning, oh man, see, this event has so many ramifications, like Tony's death in Endgame and all that too. Now the Peter Parker aspect of all that has been erased. It's a tragedy. A tragedy.
Yeah, because that also means too that like the remaining heroes like Falcon and the Winter Soldier don't remember him.
Yep.
Scarlet Witch not gonna remember him.
The other heroes
Doctor
never
Strange
knew of
isn't
him.
gonna remember
Captain
him.
America.
Yep.
None of them never knew.
Ant-Man and the Wasp aren't gonna remember him. Speaking of which, Ant-Man and the Wasp into the Quantum Realm is gonna be coming out, and I heard the big baddie there is gonna be Kang the Conqueror.
Wow.
That's I think gonna be the next big villain. He's worse than Thanos. Trust me. That dude is on a whole other level. Like Thanos, even with the Infinity Gauntlet, cannot touch Kang the Conqueror.
I can't
He's
wait.
That fucking deadly.
Can't wait. I wonder what they're gonna do with the Black Panther route. Anyway. Maybe, hopefully, Michael B.
We'll
Jordan
speculate
somehow
that for
comes
another
back. Anyway, but
Hey, maybe that alteration makes.
maybe it does. Like this whole multiverse of madness stuff that's coming in Doctor Strange.
Just all they really have to do is simple route. He takes his hand at the end and joins him.
Yeah.
And just now T'Challa just gives up the mantle of being the Black Panther, be full-time king. They just never show him anymore. Just have him like, oh, T'Challa sent me. I'm now the Black Panther.
I just realized something.
Full duty as king.
Us talking about the movie is longer than the movie. We're like 20 minutes longer than the movie. We're almost done, folks. Don't worry.
Oh shit, we are.
Yeah, this is the longest episode of the podcast too. I hope you're enjoying this on New Year's. It's a New Year's special. It's almost midnight right now. It's almost January 2nd. Peter Parker has an apartment. Don't forget the rent's due. I wish that had been Mr. Ditkovich. That had been a great Easter egg. Rent. Anyway, but he goes in. You see that he's going for his GED. A tragedy. He's not going to go to MIT. He lost all of his progress from school, which is really dumb too, because the blip screwed him out of graduating in college already. The 5-year blip from Infinity War.
Yeah, so now he just looks like a high school dropout.
Right. Big sacrifices, big struggle, but it's a part of being Spider-Man.
This is now officially the Peter with the worst stick or end of the stick out of all of them now. He
officially.
is now officially the closest to the comic book Spider-Man where we actually usually meet I was about to say Spider-Man. Where we meet
the trash
Peter Parker
life. Trash
in most
life.
Of the comics where if he's not in high school, he's usually just living in like an apartment and he has to pick up a job, which we'll probably see him start doing photographs. And
the Daily Bugle.
Yeah, like
the Daily Scroll.
Honestly, too, he already knows about the Daily Bugle, so it's not like it's not common.
They go there for a job. And you see in his room that he's kept all the memorabilia. So that he still has the Darth Sidious, the Lego Darth Sidious.
And people always used to say Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man suit was the most comic book accurate, but now
he made his own, and he modeled it after his Spider Brothers, along with his old Stark suits to pay homage to Tony still. It's an epic suit at the end. No more Stark tech, no more crutches and handicaps. No, it's a genuine homemade suit, legit. That's all he's got. He's lost the Stark suit, too, because it wouldn't recognize him. The technology wouldn't because Peter Parker never existed.
Yep, Friday wouldn't recognize him now.
So, there you go. And it ends with what? It ends like the other legendary Spider-Man movies did for Tom and Andrew, a final swing. And his is out in the snow with his theme. He's got to live with the life he's got. The suit is amazing, too. It has you can tell that his spider is inspired by Andrew's, but the placement of the red and blue is inspired by Toby's. And then like the eyes are still his from the Stark suit and such. Like it's a great amalgamation of all that he's learned. The suit represents that. And that's where the movie ends, with him
And this is
face diving into the camera. And that's it. And like the credits are epic too.
this is where we find out that we were in the longest origin story fucking
Ever.
Also,
Yes.
a nice little attention to detail. If you look at the posters, Spider-Man Homecoming has a good amount of people. Like, I think, maybe almost 10 people on the cover?
Yeah. There's a lot.
Because it has, like, the Vulture, it's got Liz, it's got Spider-Man, it has Iron Man on it. I think it's got Ned on there as well. It's got a good amount of people. Then we have Spider-Man Far From Home, which dials it down to, I think, 5 people?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's got Spider-Man, it's got Quentin Beck, it's got, I think, Nick Fury. I believe it has Zendaya and Ned on there as well. So I believe that is the 5 right there. And then we have No Way Home, and it drops down to 2 people. The number is gradually getting shorter, and it's just Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, which, in all honesty, you take out everything else. The only big factors of this are Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. And I can say Spider-Man because we can count the other Spider-Man in that equation, technically.
They're
Really,
in the
everyone else
they're in the post credits
not-
where you see their half faces, like, and like their names too. Like, and you see the 3 Spider-Men interacting in an animatic. It's really cool.
So this is the end of the Homecoming series, pretty much.
Yeah. Now, like, they're
So
gonna have
the next
different
Spider-Man
names. I'm sure.
film will probably just have Spider-Man on it because he's gonna be alone in this.
Yeah,
All of
like
his
he's not gonna
former
have help.
accolades are gone.
None of them really. Yeah, like it's bruh, the flagship character, and like for all the folks who gave the Tom Holland Spider-Man a lot of crap, saying it's not really Spider-Man and it's not like a good Spider-Man movie, of which I was one, by the way. This movie showed that, ladies and gentlemen, was all a part of the plan all along. It was intentional. Because now, going forward, we're getting a new trilogy with Tom in the MCU. He's going to have another 3 movies, and I happen to believe his 3rd movie will end with his character dying and Miles Morales taking over. But, and the reason I believe that is because Tom
Jackson Williams.
Tom Holland himself has said that he doesn't want to play Spider-Man into his 30s.
Also, he's going to be playing Nathan Drake in the Uncharted series,
Yeah.
so that's going to be 4
He wants to
games, so
expand
4
his
films.
career. So,
And honestly,
I don't
he's
blame him.
young, he's talented,
Yeah.
he's athletic, and he has a lot of potential.
yeah, he
Like,
does.
to do any type of character, even a villain for like
Wait
his
till he
baby
becomes
face,
a
like how he
veteran.
looks. He could really.
Wait till he becomes a
everything.
veteran when he's older. Like, it'll
Yeah,
be really
this
interesting.
is young Tom Holland, and he's managed to not only snag his celebrity crush, which is very minuscule. He got to play his favorite superhero, and he's playing the main character in his favorite game. Who the fuck does all 3 of those things at the age of 20
Right.
that he's in? Young 20s.
What a beast.
Got Zendaya.
Tom Holland's been acting for a while too, man. Like I saw him like
Spider-Man,
when he was a kid on shows
Uncharted.
and stuff.
Yeah, dude, he's been
Yeah,
acting
he's been
since
around
like,
for a while.
03, I think is the farthest film I could see.
He's been around for a
And
while.
what? Yeah. So I think he definitely started way earlier than both Toby and Andrew, I think, right?
Toby was a kid too when he started. Him and
Oh,
Leonardo
okay, then.
DiCaprio. Andrew though, he may have been an adult. I don't know.
I think Tom has found the most success though, because if you honestly ask about where you've seen other people in, most people will probably right now recognize Tom.
So the question will be, will Spider-Man remain obscure, or will he rejoin the Avengers to take a leadership role eventually, like, and build his way up to it? We don't know.
Yeah, you know what? You know what? He will. You know why? He has all the prior knowledge of everything. Some
Yeah.
things might get left out because
They're gonna
some
wonder
things might have-
why too. They're gonna
some
be like,
things might
how do
have
you know
involved Peter
all of
Parker.
that?
Remember,
Yeah.
secret invasion's gonna happen,
And
and who's gonna be a
he'll
key
be the
factor
only
to
one who will know
differentiate
everything
people from
before.
another?
Yep.
Because he's gonna know what the scrolls are,
Yep. He'll be the only one.
and he'll be able to know the difference between people.
First post-credit scene. If you've seen Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage, you're probably wondering, why wasn't Venom in the movie? Because that was never the point. The point was he comes, he's learning about the MCU,
Just to
and then
drop
bloop,
something
he's sent
off.
back, and he leaves something behind. the Venom symbiote, which we know will make its way to New York,
And
and
not
it will
only
find
that,
him.
was he was
It will find
last thing
Spider-Man.
he said before he left
That
was, we gotta find this Spider-Man guy. And then they get sent back. And the smaller the amount, basically the symbiote works like the Thing. The
Yeah.
bigger it is in connection to its host, the smarter it is. But when it's more minuscule, it has that one ideal objective. And it's going to keep going there until it gets to that point. So that
it needs
small
to
version,
feed and to grow too now. So
it
that's going to
can't
make
do
it like
anything
that.
in that form.
Yeah,
The
it
most
needs
it
to
can do is
feed.
just, it needs a strong host too.
Yep, which it
So-
will get.
It's going to be focused on just finding specifically Spider-Man.
And
And with no one knowing who
Oh.
Spider-Man is, they can't protect him from the symbiote.
what was I gonna say? And then at the end of Venom 2, the symbiote is talking to Eddie and it's telling him, "You have no idea the scope of what I know, like the many lifetimes." It reminds me of the Trill and their symbiotes from Star Trek, how they get different hosts and move on, like they can be like immortal because of it. And like the
You know what
Venom
it gets me
symbiote
thinking?
does say that they are a hive mind, which I immediately took that this Venom symbiote knows about the Tobey Maguire symbiote, like and what happened.
Ugh.
It's a hive
You know what
mind
gets me-
across dimensions and everything like
Mhm.
their species is. And
Well,
then,
when he
like, it's
says a
left behind.
hive mind, that gets me thinking directly to Null, the god of symbiote.
Are
For
they going to
those of
go
you
that
who
way?
don't know, well, here's the thing: the planet of where the symbiotes derive from isn't a planet. It's like possibly 1 million to 1 billion symbiote forming together
Wow.
to a sort of planet, and at the center of it is Null. They're keeping him there at the core, refusing to let him out, because Null was here before light ever touched the universe. His kingdom was the entire entity of darkness itself, and when the Celestials came in and shined a light, they invaded his kingdom, and he took it upon himself to kill Celestials. He killed one and formed a sword and was able to one-shot Celestials like they were fucking children.
Lord have
Celestials
mercy.
Celestials are on the level of Galactus. Galactus is probably one of the weaker tier Celestials. So creatures like the Living Tribunal, even Kang the Conqueror, Thanos, they are nothing to Null. He is the god of symbiote, and the origin of that sword explains why they're afraid of fire and sound. Because that first symbiote was spawned many other symbiote, and they inherit the same thing. It's just something they're afraid of. Not necessarily that it kills them, but they allow it to kill them. The fire forged them and helped him to stay still. The sound scared him and kept him in place. And that's why every other symbiote now is afraid of sound and fire. Because Null
Makes complete sense.
created that sword. Null is one scary looking motherfucker. He has a dragon symbiote.
Oh my gosh, yes. That reminds me of Web of Shadows. So
Yeah, no,
we're
dude, he
going
is the-
into
We'll talk about Null off screen, and I'll show you some stuff.
look
That
at Red
fucker's nuts to be messed
orgasming
with.
because you said dragon symbiote. Red's gasming in chat. They're going into Secret Wars, and if I'm not mistaken, the Secret Wars in the comics is when Spider-Man gets the symbiote. So like it all lines up.
Yep.
Right? Anyway, yeah. Will Venom ever return to the MCU? I don't know. Okay. After that was the Multiverse of Madness trailer. Doctor Strange. His next movie.
You
Looking
have
good.
No idea
Yep.
what's coming.
And it's like the evil counterpart of Strange. And then like he also talks with the Scarlet Witch or Wanda in the trailer. It's looking good. Looking forward to it.
Also, you know where they show the Sanctum Sanctorum and it's like flooded? I wonder if they did another one of those things with the snow, you know, where they left one of those gates open and just it poured in.
Maybe. So what's up with Morbius now that we've seen No Way Home? Morbius knows
still
who
in the
Venom
MCU.
is.
Yeah.
We saw Michael Keaton's Vulture in Morbius. We
But
saw Tobey
Maguire
Maguire Spider-Man graffitied on the wall with Murderer. We saw Andrew Garfield's Oscorp building. And I think we saw Toby's Daily Bugle. And then
We also saw something else from.
what did we
Andrew
see from
Garfield.
Tom's? Oh, the
We just
Vulture.
need Michael Keaton.
The Michael Keaton Vulture, like it's what we saw from Tom Holland's.
So I wonder if that
verse.
spell, what it did was it merged
fused.
all the spider.
Yeah.
together. You can't put one of them down if you see all three of them do different things. That's the only way to kind of like discount all of them. Which is funny because now, because that has linked them all together, that makes the official first MCU film Spider-Man 2002.
Unless they bring the X-Men in, then that'll be first. But I doubt they'll get Hugh Jackman
Give
and
it
gang
time.
back. We'll see. They're going to make their own X-Men in Fantastic Four. But anyway, I'm really looking forward to Morbius to seeing what's up with that. Like, whoa, what?
It's gonna, yeah, we need to really pay attention to all those little subtle
I will be
details,
watching
but-
that movie like a hawk when I'm in
Yeah.
there. Okay. We already addressed. Okay. Well, I'm glad I said this. Will the OG X-Men and Fantastic Four make an appearance down the line? We don't know.
Let's not talk about X-Men right away till I educate CJ more.
I know about the X-Men, Craig. Anyway, but I would like to think. I hope they
We
do,
have a
but
few things
I don't think
early
they'll
on
get
that
Hugh
say
Jackman
otherwise.
back. I don't
Well,
think he's
Hugh
going to play the
Jackman had
character
said, like,
anymore.
He
He's
had
done.
said if Disney gets it, that he would do it because they'll make a comic accurate suit. Like X2 Wolverine,
Works for me.
like how he looked, where he just had his arms toned out, that's all they need. He didn't have to do all those intense workouts because he got skin cancer being exposed to all that shit because they had him be shirtless all the time.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well,
Also, he was doing like a 36-hour water purge.
good
So he couldn't have
God.
water for 36 hours, and he was still
He was
expected to do all
really
those
putting
exercises.
in work on himself,
Those
dude.
exercises
Dang.
included boxing and heavy lifting. Yeah, that fucker got shredded.
Yeah. He was pretty shredded in movies. Okay. A few other Easter eggs. We already said the scientist line from Roman. You know, I'm somewhat a scientist myself. There's the power of the sun lines from Otto, right?
And they did the Spider-Man meme when they all linked up. You see them all point at each other. It's quick, but you catch them all just like point at each other. Like,
Yeah. Sandman and Lizard, like the CGI scenes from past movies. We didn't touch on this, how Toby said that he and MJ did make it work after Spider-Man 3. I would like to think now that they have kids, Mayday Parker, and she inherited his powers and he's retired and he passed the mantle to her. I'd like to
it's
think
good
that.
to know that he didn't kill her with his dick.
Yet. She dies from radiation in the comics. Anyway.
Yeah, but they didn't have kids. That was part of the thing, that he had sex with her and then she
Andrew
died at a
stopped.
point.
So
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield stopped pulling his punches. I think he's killed some villains. He's gone down a dark path. This is going to set him right. Maybe you'll meet MJ.
Which is
Who
kind of
knows what
funny that we
happened.
meet him when it's raining.
Right. And he's in that back alley like that too. And then of course, like the sound cues, how all their webs sound the same. We're almost done. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, the sequel to Into the Spider-Verse.
I haven't seen Into the Spider-Verse. That's all you.
Watch Into the Spider-Verse ASAP, then watch the trailer for Across the Spider-Verse. And Across the Spider-Verse is only going to be part 1. They're splitting Across the Spider-Verse into 2 parts. It's going to be so grand. So really looking forward to it. I love the budding romance between Miles and Gwen, and it's awesome stuff. I don't want to get too much into it. They better have twins in the future like they did in the comics. Okay. Anyway,
DJ,
but they're
two
from
questions.
they're from different dimensions. How's that going to work? I don't know. But
That's Marvel's made other relationships work.
Mm.
Do you have any other thing? Because I do want to ask you two questions.
Spider-Man 2 for the PS5 is going to be, oh my gosh. And Insomniac has said that Spider-Man is their Iron Man because Insomniac's next game is Wolverine. They're making their own
He's my
Marvel-verse themselves. I can't wait. It's going to be way better than that stupid Avengers game, too. We are living in a
That
golden
damn-
age for Spider-Man.
That damn X-Men
Spider-Man
Origins
fans,
Wolverine
be
game had
blessed
no
you're
business
alive
being
right
as
now.
good as it was.
Oh yeah, dude. The X-Men Origins, Wolverine, dude.
Terrible movie, but fucking
Great game. Just like the Spider-Man 3 game was better than the movie. I don't know, but Spider-Man fans, you're living in a golden age. Spider-Man fans, you're living in a golden age.
All right.
Don't take it for granted.
So, folks, this question can go to you too. Spider-Man No Way Home. CJ, this question's for you. Is it the greatest Spider-Man film of all time, contending with every Spider-Man film to date? That includes the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, the 2 previous Spider-Man film featuring Spider-Man, and Spider-Man Enter the Spider-Verse.
Right. I will say I am now over 2 weeks removed from seeing it the first time in theaters. I think that's good time to let things simmer down. Yeah, it's the greatest Spider-Man. Spider-Man 2 has been surpassed. Finally. And it's even more impressive because this is the 3 Jinx. It overcame it all. It had a crowded cast. We understood them all. And though the crowded cast worked because we already knew all those characters before, so you don't have to develop them.
Also, too, Marvel, the MCU has done great balancing a fuck ton of characters.
Yes. Everyone's already been introduced, so now you can play around with them more. But I say Spider-Man No Way Home is officially the best Spider-Man movie so far. I believe
question,
Tobey and Andrew will return during the Secret Wars invasion.
Oh, yeah.
I believe they will return to the MCU.
My final question, CJ, and this is again for everybody. Best part is for this last question, you don't even need to have been paying attention to this whole podcast to be a part of this one.
Yes, Craig, I love you.
I have a top 6. Who is the greatest comic book villain of all time? Is it Green Goblin, General Zod from the OG Superman,
right?
Thanos, the Joker from The Dark Knight, Alfred Molina's Dr. Octopus, or Ian McKellen's Magneto?
Wow. And you're asking for comic accuracy or what? Like just who's the greatest in general? Who's the greatest in general?
Which of those 6 stood out to you the most?
I have to say,
honestly, any one of them are really good. You could just tear down.
Ah, man.
Kneel before Zod.
Kneel before Zod. You know that's my line.
Inevitable.
You know that's my line.
Let's put a
Come back, son of Jor-El. Kneel before Zod.
Yes.
But I think Willem Dafoe, with this performance in No Way Home, 20 years after and slipping back into character like he never left, you can tell he missed the role. He wanted to play it more.
He's a passionate actor, which is good.
Yeah, because screen acting is his side job. He's a stage play actor, first and foremost, which is why he's so great. I swear those stage play actors are the best, man. Like Ian McDermott, the man that plays the Emperor in Star Wars. He's a stage actor. That's why he's so damn good when he's on screen. But I think Dafoe cemented himself here. He was great already, but this one catapulted him to a different planet, a different stratosphere. Ian McKellen.
Also, for those who don't know, the actor that plays General Zod in the older Superman movie, if you ever seen the film The Haunted Mansion, he was the evil butler.
Zod. Yeah.
So that crazy bastard made Superman his bitch.
I do like the Michael Shannon Zod too. Just putting that out there. Okay. All right.
It just doesn't hit the same. I do like him as well, but he didn't need the intensity. Zod, the whole thing about Zod, he's more stoic, which makes him more intimidating.
The Michael Shannon one just loses the shit as the movie goes on. Like he's all like, "Let me take your planet."
Yeah, that motherfucker just said, "Yeah, like if you look at Michael Shannon and you're like, there's no negotiating with this guy. Just beat his ass."
He's Vegeta. He's like, "I am a warrior." Okay.
Yeah, you look at the OG version. You look like you can have a conversation with this guy, but this guy also looks like he'll break your neck if you sneeze incorrectly. Like if you fart, you're dead.
He'd be like, "What is that human stench?"
Well, and then all of a sudden,
he'd be like, "Oh, he's dead." Anyway, Alfred Molina too, again, right in the role.
For me, like
Heath
if we're
Ledger,
going based on comic book entirety, I have it's been a 3-way tie for me for Magneto, just because Ian McKellen has been that Magneto, and I always feel like I can only picture him. He's like, "We are the cure," and just all of his lines that he says too, or like he just traitor to their own cause, and I was just like, "Oh yes, daddy." And then, but in terms of comic book villains, like you cannot get more impactful than Thanos and the Joker, because Joker has been done plenty of times, but it took one film for the Joker to win, and he did win in The Dark Knight. No matter what way you spin it, he won at the end of the day.
He won.
He had 8 years of peace within Gotham. He did something that the three, like, holy trinity of Gotham could not do, which was Batman, Detective
Gordon, and
then Harvey Dent.
Yeah.
The White Knight, the Dark Knight, and the Man in the Middle.
The Man in the Middle, yeah.
And Thanos got built up since, like,
the first, bro, like you see him in the first Avengers. Yeah, like, so, yeah.
So, and he won in Infinity War. That was his movie, Avengers Infinity War. He was the main character.
That should have been the end, damn it.
Motherfucker said, Thanos was right.
It's like, all right. Thanos was it. That's the end of the MCU. Thanks for coming. Like, what? Anyway,
like all of our heroes were like, again, so like
he cut them all.
That film changed everything, and Infinity War was supposed to be the end, but then they went that different route, which ended up working really good.
Yep. And then
so
Far From Home
it's a three-way tie for me, because the rest of them, no offense to them, besides Alfred Molina and like Willem Dafoe getting this comeback, these three stand out because, like, when they carried their films, like, they carried it to a whole other level. Like, I have a bias potentially towards the Joker because it was one film, just like majority of these other characters, but he has had the most impactful, and he won at the end of his film. How many villains can you say that they pop up in their film and they win in that same one?
He was so damn good that he had to die in real life. They couldn't let him continue. That's how damn good he was. He was supposed to come back for The Dark Knight Rises. Batman was supposed to go seek consultation from the Joker to deal with Bane. Which is kind of sad. Yeah.
Because Bane wasn't supposed to be in it.
That would have been a travesty.
They picked him up on the spot because the Joker was gone.
That would have been a travesty. It was
supposed to be.
I love Tom Hardy's
Harvey
Bane.
Dent was supposed to pop up either.
Like, I love Tom Hardy's
Like, you know where he rides off and he's just like going nuts in the back of the car?
Yeah.
That was supposed to be where it ends. He wasn't supposed to turn into Two-Face yet. Because he's supposed to turn Two-Face where, like, he interviews the Joker in court and then he throws acid in his face in court. Like, they have concept art of it.
Like
so
in the
he was not supposed to.
The Batman Forever, you see that flashback where someone threw acid in his face in the courtroom. Fucking Harvey Dent. Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking Tommy Lee Jones thought he was playing the Joker.
In previous films that, you know, Harvey Dent was a black guy. Just saying.
They recasted him, yeah. It was supposed to be Billy D. Williams, baby.
Why don't we talk about that scene? What happened to him? Why did he get the Michael Jackson treatment and no one talked about it, huh?
No one whines about that. Someone black being recast as white, but they whine about. Anyways, I'm not going to get into that. Anyway, this has been great. Longest episode of Chicken and Rice up to this point. It's been a great one. I'm surprised my internet held out. But thank y'all so much for coming. Yeah, right?
Great quality.
Oh, thank God.
This is possibly the best quality you've been in.
Well, it's going to be even better after Tuesday. They should be coming out on Tuesday. A few announcements before I get the heck out of here. And it's that I am on indefinite hiatus going forward, ladies and gentlemen, on my own channel. So if you're subscribed, I would say don't renew your subscription. Save your money for now. When I come back, you'll all be the first to know. I will be doing Chicken and Rice in the meanwhile still, but I'm on indefinite hiatus. I think I need it for a multitude of reasons. My mind, my soul, my body, my spirit, all of it. I just need to get my fire back. This here doesn't count. I'm talking about the solo show for Lee Charles Jackson. Maybe you felt it and noticed it too over the past couple or months or so. but I just got to get it back. But I will get it back, and I will be back. In the meanwhile, I'll be here with my brothers on Chicken and Rice and the Beast when he can find the time, because he's got a busy schedule too. Life hits everybody hard. Same thing goes for the Juice. I'll still be joining these gentlemen on their streams at the very least in chat. But I thank you for your patience, and I love you.
I guess for my update recently, like I said at the beginning of the stream, I got the booster shot. It has been fucking me up. I had to put time in off of work for Friday and Sunday, technically today too, because like I know I'm not going to make it. I've been feeling nauseated, and I've been trying to do at least an hour of stream, but even then it's been hard because I've been having to move things around. It's been a lot though, so if I'm not exactly super active, which I'm gonna try to at least get one stream in if possible, and then I'm gonna try with the chicken and rice stuff. Like, thankfully I had Saturday off today, but I cannot guarantee that I'll be here like all the time this late, because we start at 8 today. We started at 9. If we start at 9, most likely, like, if it gets pushed back, I'm probably not going to be able to join in. So 8 o'clock I'll be here for most an hour, because again I'll have work at 5 in the morning. I need to get my rest, to go over there and be able to function at full capacity. So yeah, if we start earlier, then I'll be here a little longer. But if we start at 8, then I'm good. If we start later, then I'm not going to be on the show for that episode.
I'm glad you said that. Okay, so we're gonna try to bump to 7 then. Okay, cool. Because I can do 7, and I'm sure that the Juice can too. So
okay,
we're gonna work on doing 7. That works. Gives us a 1 hour window, because the show is normally an hour, right? But
yeah, it normally is. So
today was it's the New Year's special edition, but. Yeah, I don't know if I said this earlier. I was in the moving process. See, like it's been like 3.5 hours, so I don't remember if I said this in the beginning. Been in the moving process, a lot going on. But when the dust settles, everything will be all good. That's it. What the hell are you guys still doing here? Get the hell out of here. What are you doing
next
here?
level.
Anyway, thank y'all for coming. I know Ganny was in the house. Lord Phoenix at the raid. Captain Hentai. Both the ladies were here. Yam, Bingo, Naruto was here. I know Ganny was here. I'm just very grateful for you all. We are all very grateful for you. We'll see you next time. No raid. We're not going to burden you with having to stick around for anything like that. We're just going to get the heck out of here. And we'll see you in 2 weeks, most likely at 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. How are you doing? 06? Sorry if I got your name wrong. You can slap me later. You get a free slap. We were just wrapping up. You should leave a follow, because we'll be back again in 2 weeks, 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, West Coast, United States. We just talked about Spider-Man No Way Home. Let all the spoilers go. And you can come check us out individually. Our names are here on screen. I'm the Charles Jackson. That is the Beast NLG_CTV. So just NLG_CTV. You see the names above us, and then we have 2 other members who are not currently here with us too. It's nice to meet you.
If you want to find out who they are, go give them a follow on their Twitch channels.
That's right.
I guess one of them, really. But if you want to see
look at Jason chat now.
And engage more of his wonderful activity, go subscribe to him there. If you want to see my face, go to my channel, I guess. Because here on this channel, I don't show my face.
I'm going to troll everyone. Just put my butt cheeks in front of your face. They can't see them on everything. But I will still be active on YouTube, folks. I'm going to be editing still nonstop, because I'm feeling good about that.
He's very active.
Even though like, I won't be here on
boxing videos. It's popping.
My boy.
And I'm a boxing dummy, and I find them very intriguing. And it's not just because he's my friend, my brother.
He's a little biased.
My family.
Just a little.
A little bit.
And please go to the NLG YouTube channel as well, where the Beast will be providing some more than stellar content.
It's a slow process,
as well.
but I'm getting it out slowly.
It's going to be nice and
patient.
fat when he gets it out. So delicious.
I do not, unfortunately, have the time.
Right. See, time is a bish. But
yeah.
I got a lot planned for this year on YouTube. You guys will see. It's going to be a great year. I mean this. I said it in my Discord server. 2022 is going to be a good year. I got a lot planned, a lot to release, a lot of work to do, but it's going to be great. And I see the channel blowing up, the YouTube channel blowing up this year. It's going to be great.
Maybe you should just try to do another Let's Play, but just try using the OBS.
Let's Play, huh?
Just for the recording purpose, as opposed to.
I had an OG subscriber, Craigo, actually come through, and he's a OG. Like, this guy has been subscribed to me since minimum 2010. So 12 years ago now. And he said to me, hey, you know what? Let me go to it and just read it word for word, because it really did touch my heart. It tugged at the heartstrings. By the way, I just realized something. When Toby said that he's been stabbed before, we actually saw that happen in Spider-Man 3 when he was fighting Little Goblin Jr. Just putting that out there. Anyway, I got a comment from a subscriber, and like, I won't name them, but they said to me this: really hoping you go back to the Let's Plays, man. Sly Kai, y'all know who Sly Kai is. On my YouTube OGs know, plus he was on last week's episode of Chicken and Rice. Sly Kai is coming back, and although this new stuff is cool, it's not what got you your 1,000 subs and all those views. You stream anyway, so I know you game, but just consider bringing back the old Charles Jackson.
I think you should, CJ.
That really touched my heart, like, a lot. But the thing is that the YouTube scene has really evolved. Like, and I explained this to him. The YouTube scene has really evolved. The Let's Play scene just isn't for me anymore. The world has really changed. My gaming is done over here on Twitch, because I do it over here on Twitch now.
Widened.
I do it over here on Twitch. Like, I'd rather do it live for everyone.
Your creativity has widened and broadened. All I'm saying though, CJ, is like, when I do the recordings on Twitch for Neo, that's our current YouTube series. And I explained too, right from the jump, that like, when I do the YouTube version of stuff, I'm not going to really be paying attention to comments, and it lets me focus on the game more. Because, you know, when we're doing Twitch, you don't have to, but if we decide to pay attention to our chat, try to read it as often as we can. For podcasts like this, we don't always look at the chat too much, because it ends up going on YouTube. But for YouTube, when you're doing it, if you just tell your chat, hey, I turned off all the alert boxes on this version of it because I'm doing, this is going to be on YouTube eventually. So you tell them that, you can focus on the game, and it lets the people in your chat at least communicate with each other. They understand. Your community is not going to bash you for not being like, oh, well, why can't I do this? No, they're going to understand. And honestly, when you get a chance to sit down and really edit your stuff and add in shit you want to just throw in there, the creativity is very different than as opposed to what you're limited to on Twitch. Because compared to YouTube and Twitch, you're limited in very different aspects. And CJ, you are a very creative person.
Looking in the mirror again,
Drago. Bitch, if you say I am, that means you are too. So don't even go there. But your creativity, like, just because the scene is populated by more and more people doesn't mean that should delegate you away from the Let's Play series. You still got to put yourself in there. Just because you're going to get yourself in there on Twitch doesn't mean that you shouldn't also try to get yourself out there on YouTube. Look what you're doing with your boxing videos. People already know you for boxing videos, right? Let's say you play Spider-Man, like the new one that comes out. You do like a little wombo combo, whatever. You add in like someone getting knocked out, and then the boss goes into like phase 2. Add a little like boxing ring, like ding ding. All right, round 2, let's go. I don't know. You could bring in something, add in some dialogue, pause, and be like, all right, so this is what I want to do. This is what really happened. You throw in some quips from your favorite shows or something, sitcoms, whatever. Like, I don't know. You throw in some stuff from like, what's that show you always tell me about? How I Met Your Mother.
I
Throw in
love
some
that
quips
show.
from
It's my
there.
favorite sitcom of all time. You know, the thing about
Yeah.
this, Craig, is even back in the day, I always wanted to expand my channel beyond Let's Play when I was a kid, but I didn't have the means back then. But now I do. I happen to be more passionate now about making video essays. I did have a plan, though, for Retro Day on the anniversary of my channel to take things back in time to the old school, whip the camera out, put it in front of the TV, and play like the old days, and maybe even get
Okay,
some
don't go
people over
that
for couch
retro.
play. No, like
We
it's
have
only
filter
for
for that.
it's only for that day. It's like it's going to be a series, Retro Day. So on August
Well, unless
22nd,
you're
because
gonna
I
get your
believe
voice
that's the
to
day.
go-
On August 22nd.
Unless you're gonna get your
that'd be it.
voice to go, I am the Charles Jackson.
No, but we'll probably do some interlooping of old clips with the modern day.
Oh, I have a plan for that, but we won't talk about that on screen. But yeah, I definitely think you should go back to Let's Playing as well, but also do Twitch. There's no reason why you can't balance out both. If you got the time, CJ, do it.
I'll definitely
Like,
consider it.
You're
now.
never gonna get more time in your life, so for the time you got, give it more of your life.
You have a way with words.
Unfortunately, so.
What would I do without you, Kirko?
And look at the first reaction when I talked about like Let's Plays. The lady is crazy right off the bat. Yes,
The scene is.
and you could do it one of two ways. Twitch or OBS that we use has just a recording app,
Yeah,
so you don't even.
that's
have
what
to
I'm probably
worry
going to
about it.
use.
And you
if it
have a
comes down
streaming
to
version.
it.
I do the streaming version just because it's easier for me.
Wow. Something else just came up. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
No
We should
worries.
probably wrap it
Yeah.
up though. But
Thanks. We're at 3.5 hours. This is turning into like this isn't even. Well,
oh,
it is.
CJ,
Podcast
can we
Boost.
actually go rate someone?
Yeah, of course.
Vince
You have
has a
the
friend.
you have the power to do it too, from your end.
Right,
If you
I'm
type
not
it in
actually
chat.
not on the Twitch version. Hang
Oh,
on.
okay, so I can type it in for you. What's the name?
I'm gonna get it for you real quick. This is Vince's friend.
Put the name in chat if you can, so I can just copy and paste it, or you can say it to me. Shit, who cares?
I'll just put it in here. That way, it's easier to. Oh shit!
You know, I get really frustrated too when I'm working on videos because I wish I could just, like, it could just be done by me thinking of the concept. Oh my gosh, there's so much work to be done. Thank y'all again
I know,
for
dude.
sticking it out with us.
Part about like
Editing,
at
bro,
least
like this
you get it to the. Let me see.
tournament video that I'm working on right now, bro, is killing me. Like, I can't wait to release it because it's gonna be that good. But this
Yeah,
shit
there we
is
go.
hard.
I believe that is one of Vince's buddies. He had me.
Got him. I'm ready to
yeah,
raid.
So, it's playing Fortnite,
ASAP.
folks.
I'm ready to raid ASAP. Let me make sure that I'm here for the view on Twitch as well.
Good guy, entertaining dude. I highly recommend you.
But thank y'all very much. Great episode. Happy New Year. Was January 2nd now, but Happy New Year. Thanks for coming, everyone. Red, Lady, Hen, Jace is here now. Caxips, welcome to the family. Again, I hope I'm saying your name right. Naruto, Yam was here. Bingle, Lord Phoenix came through with the raid. Ganny was here. Thank y'all so much for coming. We really appreciate you.
I love that we had our lady sandwich here too.
That's right. I love that lady sandwich. See you in 2 weeks. New start time, 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. This has
I'm still
been
not going to be showing my
episode
face.
15. That's right, Ewan. I'm still going to show you my ass. All right. This has been episode 15. And have yourself a great fucking night. That's what we got for you. Smooches right back at you, lady. Mwah. Y'all have a great night. Thank you so much. Until we meet again, let's start the raid up. Make sure it's ready. So raid. All right, everybody.
Perfect. It's going through.
Thanks. We appreciate you. We love you. See you next time. This has been Charles Jackson and
Hi. NLG_CTV. That's me. Also known as the Beast.
Also known as the man from the next level. See you next time.
And I will see you there. Yes, sir.
You guys couldn't hear him, but the Beast just said 1. And therefore, I shall say 2. See ya.
Baby Bandit.